Hiya. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, guys. Hello. Welcome, welcome. What's going on? Hi. Hi. What's going on? What's that? Mm-mm. Same stuff, different day, yeah. Um, this. Mm. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Just answering some comments very quickly. I just posted another thing. I'm on a posting binge, I guess. Gotta get it in while I still can. I'm very sad today. Frustrated, maybe. Frustrated. January 19th. I can't fucking believe this country sometimes. I don't know, non. I'm on all of them. I'm on all of the unsuitable ones. So find me there for now. Yeah. Jesus. Didn't even trust Pete Hegseth to have the weekday slot. Did you see what I just posted? Did you, the Roy, what's his face? Chip Roy defense. He's a Texan boy. God. The Chip Roy defense of Pete Hegseth. Did you hear that? No, you should not. Hero. That would be a nightmare. Uh, well, yes, there are none, but apparently they like changed the algo in recent years or whatever, maybe the last year or something. I don't know. People complain all the time that it's a lot harder for like smaller creators to get discovered on there. I'm on there all the time. I get more people on YouTube coming into my lives than on Twitch. Um, I mean, granted, I don't put like that much work into Twitch outside of just like the whole thing, but also personally, I'm in it more for like the videos. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy the streaming aspect, but if I had to drop one part of it, I would drop the streaming and do more of the videos. Just because they take up a little bit less time. That's more my wheelhouse, and you know, I don't know. That's more just what I want to do in general. Ay, ay, ay. Do you want to hop up, God? Chat, hang out. Thank you for sharing the live, God. I was on earlier. I guess you know that, God. They did, Michael. 41 wonderful people. I love every single one of them. Why would I? What do you mean it's done? This is great. I love my 35 people watching me. For how long? What do you mean? The ban, if it goes into effect, in theory, would be forever. Unless they, like, somehow repeal the law or whatever. Yeah, Thug. That's how it works. People come and people go. Hello, Buggy. Yes, good job, Thug. You can count. I don't know if God, are you in here? Trying to hop up? Oh, you did. Okay, sorry. I didn't see the thing. There we go. Sorry. Thank you. Mind your business.
What's up? Don't let it get you down, though.
The fuck?
You know. I got an echo.
Oh, I see. Sorry, my audio settings just got switched. Whoopsie-daisies.
Only 31 followers. I started out with just like 12 followers, and look how famous I am now.
You're so famous. You're the most
You know,
famous.
the 12 disciples. It was a religious joke.
Wait, can you say something, God?
Hello?
Damn it.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Still not working, huh?
Something's going on. Let's hear now. Can you say something now?
Yes, I'm saying something. La-da-doo-da. Baby shark. Nope, nothing.
Maybe this cable input. Say something now.
Is it working now? Yes? No? Maybe?
Oh, boy.
Is it on your end or is it TikTok?
This is annoying.
This is what it was doing earlier, ain't it?
Nope.
The chat can hear me?
Now I can. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, you fix it.
32D chest. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I got that, remember I was talking about I was going to get another monitor so I could, like, pop things on the monitor really easily. It was, like, a cheap one before the tariffs went into place. Maybe I should return it now if everything's going to shit. I got it, so that, of course, just changed, like, you know, messed up all my apps and stuff. Let's see. I can pop it up here.
Trump should be playing Count the Calories and Walk on a Treadmill. That's what he should be playing.
Are you body shaming Trump?
The orange guy? No.
Because I love it. I love it.
I don't normally do such, but since our app is probably going to go bye-bye, I might as well get the best out of it.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Well, thank you for the rose thingies. Whoever that were.
Oh, whoops.
The rose gifts, yeah.
Cut. Look, you see, I can, like, bring this up now. Very easy.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's a whole other window.
Very fancy. I like the banner, but it should be red.
It should be red? I don't like red. I don't want to signal to MAGA. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what it does. You know, I read a thing, you know, where they done the thing, and red attracts people. Whenever it's a red banner, it means important.
Right. That's true. Blue makes
That's why
people
all the news.
trust you, though. You know.
Yeah, but notice almost all your news places use the red.
Yeah.
The red scrolling banner. It seems important.
All right, fine. Can I do orange, maybe?
You can do whatever you want. I read a thing years ago about the red banner.
No,
I know it's a silly thing,
right.
but
No, you're correct. You like blue better. I'm not trying to like alarm people. You know what I mean? I feel like, yeah. Now I'm more just like, hold on. I'm trying to cut. How's that? Yeah. Okay. Can you guys read that? The thing up here with this guy's. Is that legible now?
the banner, yeah,
No, above the banner, my usernames and stuff.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff in the way, but it's transparent enough where you can see it.
Okay, cool.
So what's the plan tonight? Rile people up? Don't rile people up?
I don't know. What are you in the mood for?
It literally doesn't make me better. It makes me worse.
I don't know. I was kind of riled up myself, so
Yeah, you
as
riled
well.
up.
Yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood.
You looking for a fight?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I started to do a live myself just to get them started.
All right. You guys hear that? Come on, come on up, everyone. God's looking for a fight. God's looking to get heated.
Yeah, let's do the fun thing and
Let's smite some people.
yeah, let's smite some people.
Feeling a little destructive. I'm Trump's daddy. I'm your daddy too.
Yep.
Anyone want to come
I
up,
guess
take a
request.
shot
Let's
at
see
God?
who it is.
Elon
we
is
got
Trump's
here?
daddy. Did you see Elon Musk using his kid as a fucking human shield?
I did not see that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he's walking around with him like on his shoulders. The guy's never spent more than a minute around his kid, around his fucking DNA, and yet all of a sudden he's carrying him around on his shoulders while whining about how it's open season on CEOs.
Elon is this generation's Einstein.
Einstein. Okay.
Einstein.
All right.
Well,
He's
this
never
generation
invented a
is
thing,
truly,
but that's okay.
Lost.
He invented Twitter. What do you mean?
Oh, you're a troll. You're kidding.
Oh, it's satire. Gotcha.
Come on, guys. You don't recognize? Come on. I wrote this song. I put it out. It's called
Oh yeah, I recognize your voice now.
Dude, okay, Andrew,
Okay,
I
picture.
almost said that this guy sounds like Andrew. So when you first said it, I thought it was you, and then I looked and I was like, that's not Andrew. That's not Andrew's profile picture or Andrew's name. And then I was like, I thought about saying like, oh, you kind of sound like our regular. That's funny. Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm not going crazy.
No, this is my band's account.
It's your band.
Just
Okay,
saying
great.
Yeah, no. Remember, we wrote that song. It's like fuck the government. It's
No, you're not.
Yeah, it was a good song.
You're jinxing me, and then
Yeah.
Thank you.
We got to get some more like protest art stuff going. God, but the platforms are going away. What are we going to do? Yeah, I will hop. I'll write letters to each and every one of you guys.
We've got a new one cooking that's kind of like roughly about like this idea that during the Revolutionary War there must have been some people who just didn't give a shit.
Absolutely.
not British sympathizers, not redcoats, but just people who were like,
Oh, absolutely.
whatever.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there had to be just living their life, just
like
going on about
fucking
it.
whoever wins, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
a
kinda
lot
wrote
of people
a song.
can't
Can't be bothered.
afford to care. You know what I mean? A lot of people got to fucking work day in, day out just to feed themselves and keep a house over their family's heads. That's always been true, unfortunately. I agree, Lyd. Also, so Catherine, or Katharina. So Lemonade is also owned by ByteDance. So Lemonade is not going to be the thing. I'm on Clapper. I'm on Lemonade, but I'm also on Clapper. If you go to my profile, you will find all of the apps linked through the tree. but you can look up at perezbrenna on basically every app. The only one that's slightly different is YouTube, but you'll probably find me anyway.
Clapper. I gotta go make an account on Clapper.
I know, no one's on Clapper.
75
And to
million
use
clappers.
to use the links in the tree, you have to open it outside the browser. Don't forget.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. But yeah, if you look up perezbrenna on every app, you should be able to find me. On this one, it's slightly different, but hopefully you'll find me anyway.
Well, do you guys want me to join from my main? You want me to switch over?
No, you can stay on whatever you want, Andrew. If you want to do this to do some promo, go for it.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. We just released our. It's not quite everywhere yet. Not on Apple Music yet, but it's on Spotify and YouTube. It's our first album that we recorded in 2006. So it's like super rough and stuff, but we just put it out.
Nice.
It's never been anywhere other than burned CDs. So we just put it on music streaming apps.
That's cute.
We used to burn 100 CDs for every show, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. I try to, Nando. Sometimes I miss. I've got a multi-chat up there. If you go on YouTube, you'll see. You can see the whole TikTok chat and stuff. Actually, I'll show you guys. It's just there's no room to show it on TikTok, but this is the on the left. You can see there's a multi-chat, and it includes the YouTube chat as well as the Twitch chat. But I don't have many people on YouTube or Twitch. I try to see all of the messages, but because almost all the messages are on TikTok, sometimes I miss them on the other apps. But
I think the only thing that's like a bummer about YouTube Lives is that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a feature that I don't know about, but you can't bring up guests. Like I have a YouTube channel, but I can't join your YouTube Live from YouTube. I can only watch it, right? Like that's the weird thing about it.
I'm gonna have to and that's true for Twitch too. I think. I think you have to use third-party apps for it,
which nobody has. It's not as organic.
Trump could tell his AG not to enforce the TikTok ban. That's a little wild. If anything, look, if he's actually motivated to overturn the ban, if he's genuinely motivated to do it, he has to have, he'll probably just have Congress, just repeal the law. They have to basically, once again, all vote to repeal it. But that won't happen because, Iz and BB want it banned. So even if Trump were to be unban it now, guys, for me, it's highly unlikely that they will do that. There's another hope that hopefully the Supreme Court somehow decides to uphold the U.S. Constitution and people's First Amendment right, but I don't have high hopes for this court. Do you?
Well, the court kind of works on vibes, to be honest. They use their strict interpretation pretty loosely,
Yes, they do.
So I don't know. There's literally, I listen to this podcast called Strict Scrutiny. I also listen to another podcast which I love and I never miss called Sisters-in-Law. One of the people on that podcast is Jill Winebanks, who was one of the head lawyers of the Watergate, and they're always talking about legal news and the Supreme Court, and that's just what I've picked up from both of those podcasts is we used to be able to kind of predict what the Supreme Court will do, but in this new framing of the Supreme Court, there's no way to know how they'll come down on anything. Because Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas are just kind of wild cards, and the remaining three Supreme Court justices that Donald Trump nominated, they'll kind of go with the wind. There's you can kind of guess what Roberts will do. You can predict what the three liberal justices will do. But you cannot predict what the other five, more MAGA justices will do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild. It's wild. The vibes. It's vibes.
Yeah.
Sorry, user. It's true. It's true. They go on vibes. The Supreme Court. They're like, this feels right to me. That they just have no What I'm trying to say is they have no consistency with their rulings.
Yeah.
It seems.
And as far as hearing
Yeah.
Trump supporters say things, I've heard more than a few Trump supporters say the earth was flat, so I don't know if they're a very credible source of information at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I mean,
say
I
a
think
lot of stuff.
the uncomfortable truth about this TikTok ban is that Republicans don't really have an incentive to keep the ban from going into effect because
Well, they've been pushing for it
right
this
now the
entire fucking
public
time.
they've been pushing it for the whole time, but then also the public consensus opinion is that it's like Biden's fault. So
Yeah.
they don't
Because
have a
they have
reason to not let Biden and the Dems like take this loss, really, you know?
They literally, yeah, they're just, it's like they have successfully like defunded education enough that most MAGA have no fucking clue. And unfortunately, a lot of non-MAGA have no fucking clue how laws are passed and somehow just don't know, you know, that, like, how this all happened. But
I don't know, Halo Kitty. My
True.
driveway is pretty curved.
My driveway's lumpy.
no, the GOP pushed the ban from the beginning, Roasted. Dems only pushed the ban, like, in the past year because of the whole is pal thing. The GOP's been behind it since the beginning. This has been their, like, project for years.
Because TikTok is very young. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but yeah.
What's crazy is
And-
that, like,
And the Red
Charlie
Scare,
Kirk and
the China Red Scare.
that too Roasted. Meta and X and Google and Amazon want it gone because TikTok Shop is a competitor for Amazon now, like a big competitor. And yeah, but another thing is like shit, I got distracted. What was I gonna say? I don't know what I was gonna say.
Amazon? You were talking about Amazon.
No, before that, before I was like responding to the Meta and X and stuff wanting on. Also, APAC Roasted. Oh yeah, thank you, Nikki. The only difference, Roasted, they were also pushing, that money was still pushing Congress 4 years ago as well. The only thing that changed was October 7th. That's the only thing that happened that changed. And in fact, congressmen have like gone on record saying this. Like there's like, they have said this in interviews and stuff. Like, yeah, the thing that finally got Dems to like shift was the is pal thing. Like entirely. So deflation is worse than inflation, Gage. It's actually worse than inflation. Don't misquote me. I'm not an idiot. Deflation is worse than inflation. Yeah, sorry, Nikki. Charlie Kirk. I was going to say Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes and stuff. I forget which one exactly I saw the interview in, but I know, like, I'm pretty sure both of them have commented on this. Ironically, in the last few months, basically, TikTok, in an effort to basically try to avoid this ban and stuff and, like, appease MAGA and Republicans, were like, what can we do to basically not get banned? And they went to, like, right-wing, you know, social media people and stuff, and they were like, this is what you need to do. And they basically like told them like, we need the algorithm to like favor these things and allow us to do these things, da da da. Like there's this whole fucking interview. I forget which one I saw talking about this specifically. I think it was Fuentes. I'm pretty sure it was Fuentes. And it makes perfect sense, Gage. You know that you clearly don't fucking know how the economy works, right? You don't know what deflation is. I know that. I already know. So you're like in over your head. You are outmatched in this conversation already. But yeah, he said, oh, why am I frozen on YouTube? That's weird. What we need, and they did everything. They did everything they asked for. And as a result, and he was saying like, he's like a big reason why like the election was won was because, because of TikTok. They were like, it like works like no other platform to get to access like audiences that they don't reach on other platforms. It's the best at getting your content in front of people that aren't already like that their algorithms aren't already like catering to them and bringing them to that content and stuff. It was like, and yeah, he talked all about this. Deflation itself is bad. Deflation both causes and is a sign of a collapse, Gage. No, I'm correct. You're wrong, Gage. You don't know what you're talking about. Exactly, roasted.
Yeah, but that sweet, sweet ignorance is just so delightful.
So, yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. God. We had someone in here earlier who's like a literal fucking economist. She could probably explain it to you if she wanted to. I've already explained it to you, clearly. You're coming in here talking about something I explained like a couple weeks ago now, so it has been explained to you. I know what I'm talking about because I'm better educated than you are, Gage. That's why. Not because I have a TikTok. Which, by the way, you also have a TikTok. That's how you're commenting on my TikTok live right now. Exactly. Thank you, Hoff. Mastodon.
I posted a TikTok from this band account because the new song, the Revolutionary War song, is kind of like a jig, like it has fiddle in it and stuff. It's like Dropkick Murphys, but for American folk. Mm-hmm. And I posted a TikTok of me like chugging a beer to the song, and it got flagged for substance abuse.
Yeah, dude, you can't.
Makes sense.
You can't drink on.
Yeah, I can't drink.
Content on, yeah.
I'm learning.
The smugness, and they wonder why they lost so badly. No, I know why we lost, Creed. I'm smug because it's fucking fun. We lost. At the very least, we get to be fucking smug as you burn the country down. If nothing else, we get to be smug.
Yep.
Gage, the fact that you literally don't even know that deflation is bad just shows me that you're going to like sit up here yelling and refusing to listen to facts. It has been explained to you. I'm not going to engage with someone who literally like denies not even something debatable, like something that is literally like Econ 101. Okay? Econ 101. Like I learned that shit in high school. Okay? If you don't have like even just a basic high school level education on it and you're going to try to assert otherwise, that's not, actually discourse.
Gage, come talk to us, friend.
The whole top of Greg's head is not, the top of his head is completely gone.
Come on, Gage. Come on.
Your mom's a liberal. You can't prove me wrong, Gage. It's literally like the basic. You can't prove me wrong. You literally cannot prove me wrong on deflation.
Come up and try, dude. Like, I don't get it. Come up and try.
No, I'm saying I don't want him on here to just scream bullshit because he's clearly not going to listen to facts. But I guess, God wants a fight. Let's bring you up. Why don't you request up?
Well.
Come on, Gage. Let's gauge your intelligence.
Andrew sounds ready also. He's pretty energetic tonight, sounds like.
Why aren't you requesting to join, Gage? Big talk, huh? Big talk. Ooh.
Big man in the comments. Big man in the comments.
Big talk. Come up here, man. Come, request to join. Gage. I agree.
They just ran away.
Aw. Yeah, as soon as we call your bluff, you fucking run off. Classic. Sorry, guys.
It is the season, guys. It is the season for snowflakes.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh God.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Fa la la la
Many,
la la la
many,
la
many
la.
blessings. Yeah.
I'm dreaming of a white
We gotta woke the song.
snowflake.
I'm dreaming of a diverse Christmas.
Yes, woke it up.
That's much
That'll get
better.
him.
Woke it up.
That'll get him. That'll get him.
Deflation. Isn't that what Tom Brady did to those footballs? Yes, Joseph.
Yes.
See?
Yes. Fuck
There
the
you go.
Patriots.
And that was bad. That was bad. Hi, Brooke.
Deflation. That's what
TikTok.
happens to Gag's ego when he sees himself in the mirror.
Yeah. So what do I mean? TikTok ban. So Brooke, the TikTok ban that was passed a few months ago, TikTok sued, and we were waiting for a decision by the courts. And today, the panel of judges issued a ruling upholding the TikTok ban. So it is currently upheld and set to be banned on January 19th. Now, they will probably try to appeal to the Supreme Court, but it's not even clear if the Supreme Court will hear it, let alone rule differently. Probably not. So as of right now, it's full steam ahead. Sorry.
Hello Kitty. Tom Brady,
Good for
Eli
That's
Manning.
arrested.
Basically the same. Basically the same. They're just blockheads. The only good quarterback is Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, Bills Mafia. Let's go.
All because the TikTok connects to the home Wi-Fi network.
No, well.
I just knew this was going to happen. Like, as soon as I got verified, and then as it started approaching, I just knew it's my curse. It's my fault, guys, that TikTok is getting banned, because on my main Andrew Scott Bell, I'm gonna reach 10K right before the ban, and that's just how it is.
Yep.
That's
All
my
your
luck.
fault, I'm sure.
It is my fault.
That's your
It's
luck.
all my luck. I swear to God, it's gonna be January 18th. I'm gonna get 10K followers. January 19th, the ban. That's just how it's gonna go.
I should have gotten my account verified with this name.
You should have. That would have been good. I'd like to see them make you prove it.
I would say God is a notable public figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the news all the time and books and,
Plenty of articles.
I'm going to be honest, I did apply for that,
There's a whole
for the
ass
check
book
mark,
written
and
about
the only reason why they didn't give it to me, they said, was because my ID is not up to date.
No,
Oh
really?
no!
Damn.
Yeah. Would have been funny, though.
Lemon 8 is also owned by ByteDance, so it will also go down with the ban, most likely.
So what is this other one you were talking about? I should download it.
Clapper?
What is it called? Clapper? Is it good? I guess
It's
we'll
trying
see.
to be TikTok. I haven't really scrolled on it much because I don't think there's enough creators on there for it to be good yet. You know what I mean?
That's what fan bases like that. Like there's like
I
10
joined
people.
Fanbase as well today. I've been
You
posting
did.
on that.
What do you think of it? It's kind of
Same thing. There's like not enough on there, I think.
It's not enough to be anything. Yeah.
Even God
I
needs
don't
to
know.
wipe the DMV. Yep.
That is my biggest weakness. Patience. I can't wait in line. I've never been able to wait in queue.
Well, that tracks.
Can't do
I've
it.
read the Bible. God is not very patient at all.
I just can't.
I'm hungry. Again.
I'm dreaming of a diverse Chris Hanukkah. With every holiday card I write.
Oh,
You
look.
really could rewrite that song just to piss MAGA off. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
easy.
I'm sure someone has. Elon Musk is once again violating the Logan Act. Supposedly negotiating with is President Herzog.
Ugh.
Just racking up those crimes. That's one immigrant we should fucking denaturalize.
Well, that's just the Logan Act is like never enforced. It's like it's
The Logan Act is
embarrassingly.
never fucking broken this much, dude. And I'm
No,
sorry.
that's true too.
No law is enforced against billionaires. That's the issue, right? But
Well,
the
that
Logan
is the big
Act
issue. Yeah.
is not fucking broken this often. Nothing will be done, exactly. Yeah, I know, Sage. I'm on Blueski as well. Blueski, Blue Sky, whatever. I'm on all of them. I'm on all the fucking apps, guys. Tell me what else to join. I didn't add the fandom logo because I just can't fit anymore.
We'll see. We'll see.
I
what
really
fuck
do
is
think that
happening?
TikTok. I mean, I think YouTube is going to be your thing eventually.
Well, thank
If
you.
they just need to
Keep at
do,
it.
well, they need to do more. Like I said earlier, like I can't go on my YouTube account and like join your live and discuss. Like it's only putting content out. It's not as in YouTube is not as interactive outside of leaving a comment or
There are
something.
ways you can do it. I don't know how you do it. I know other people do it.
Yeah, you can. You there's a company called StreamYard that during C19 I used to do video conferences because they have high quality audio streaming. I just never went live, but like you can like StreamYard is kind of like OBS in the way that like you can log into like your YouTube account or your Facebook account and go live both places through StreamYard, and you can have guests on StreamYard, but it's not as organic as like being it's not the same as like being on YouTube and then hitting a request button through YouTube to join someone's live. You know, the way
Yeah,
that
it's.
TikTok is, yeah.
I don't like the way the comment section is on YouTube either because you can't just hold on somebody's name and tag them and reply to their
Right, it's so
comment.
much more complicated. Which is fine. Like not everything has to be a copy of TikTok. And I guess maybe they will. Maybe they'll start to adapt some of the. They're already doing the YouTube Shorts. They've been doing that for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
It's just not quite the same. Nobody goes there for that. That's the thing that all these copycats are like missing is like nobody goes there for that. Nobody goes
Right.
to like Instagram Reels don't quite work the same as TikTok. Instagram Live doesn't work the same as TikTok lives. You know, it's just I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
they
having
know
a tough
that.
time.
That's why they're trying to ban TikTok. It's not that they don't know
Right.
that. They know it. They just don't know what TikTok's algo is. So they can't, you know, they can't figure
Yeah.
out how to make something comparable.
Right. Right. I will say like the Instagram Reels is like their algorithm is like too on the nose. Like TikTok somehow shows me stuff I didn't know I'd be interested in. Instagram Reels only shows me stuff that I've already engaged in or engaged with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Reels or TikTok is a lot more subtle about that stuff. TikTok is the best.
It's that sweet, sweet algo.
It's a whole fucking thing. I mean, but that's what. Yeah, not just TikTok, but like, so Instagram. Can you read people's responses to a comment I made on YouTube? What do you mean? If people respond to your comment, can you read those comments? Yeah, you should be able to.
It's just what God was saying is it's just not as fluid as like I can tap off stage. I can tap your thing and say, you know, look, and then respond to your comment. in a very fluid way. Like just by tapping your comment, it automatically brings up. YouTube doesn't work as fluidly as that.
Yeah. Gotcha. I will say also, like, posting to TikTok is not, or sorry, to YouTube is not as fluid either. It's kind of like a whole, it's really annoying.
Right.
But I was going to say, that, yeah, no, that Facebook Meta wasn't just trying to copy TikTok. Like, something we forget is that it first copied Twitter, right? With the, I think it copied, no, maybe Twitter technically copied Facebook with the status. Do you remember that? So Facebook first had the status that was like, I think 140 characters. That was like, Brenna Perez, like whatever your name was, is, and then you could fill in your status and you could just type whatever, like, is hungry, is gonna go do this, and da-da-da-da. And then people started just using it for things that were not just is statements. So then they dropped the is, right? And then Twitter came, and when Twitter was first created, people were like, okay, so it's just Facebook status. Like, that's it. And then obviously it became what it was. Instagram was separate app. They bought it. WhatsApp was a separate app. They bought it. Snapchat, they tried to buy, I believe. They couldn't, so they created stories. TikTok,
Right.
whole thing. So then they made reels. Like, it's every little thing is like.
And then they made Threads.
And then they made Threads.
Which was the big. That's why I'm like holding my breath about Blue Ski, or Blue Ski, but because Threads was the big thing. Threads was like when Elon first bought Twitter, it was like, okay, everyone, Threads, and then, but it's just not. It's not it. I think because it's Meta, it just feels like you know.
Yeah, that too. People are
It doesn't
crying out
feel
because they want to
exciting.
make money off TikTok. I do make money off of TikTok betting, so this is fucked up. It's fucked up.
I mean, it's not just. Yeah, it's not just like money on TikTok. It's like, I mean, straight up.
Yeah.
There's a small business from like Idaho or something who like makes handmade leather belts, and I would never have found that small business had it not been for TikTok. And I bought a belt from them, and I love that belt. It's a fantastic belt. And when that one, the thing is, it's a small business. It's a handmade belt. It's going to last me a long time. But I would buy another one when that one wears out because I love it so much. Like, that's the thing. It's not just like TikTok creators that make money on TikTok. It's small businesses like handmade things in like freaking middle America, Idaho, who jump on TikTok and sell their products and advertise their products. And I don't know, man. It's just, there's so much more than just TikTok creators on here.
But it's also like Sage is right. Like I feel so much more like there's a community in here. You know what I mean? Like I feel like conversations are had on here. I know that there's like a lot of like reaction content on TikTok and stuff. And so like things are like lobbied back and forth. Sorry, not TikTok, YouTube, right? Things get lobbed back and forth on YouTube. I think Instagram has literally never been fast enough with the algo to allow for that sort of thing. But TikTok has this whole other thing where it's like people have like full on conversations. You know what I mean? Like large scale conversations. Sometimes they're not like positive, but it's like TikTok is the app that invented like stitching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They invented stitching and duetting, which is revolutionary. And now the other apps are doing it, right? Like now Instagram has something similar. I don't know what they call it, where you can do the same. And I believe YouTube might also allow for that now. I don't know. And like, but that feature alone, that is what kind of grew TikTok into this much more like community-based platform, but it was like global community. You know what I mean? Like we used to have the community, the insular community thing that was like, first, obviously, MySpace, right? You had to be friends with people, and then and you would like post to message boards, da da da. Then there was Facebook, similarly insular. Like you would become friends with people. It opened up a little bit to things when it created pages and stuff, and you could post things that were like more visible to people who were not friends. So that sort of like towed the line, but you still had to be friends with people for them to show up on your newsfeed, all this stuff. Then Instagram, basically, and I'm not gonna. Instagram is basically like a copy of this website that never really caught on in the U.S. The U.S. had Tumblr, right? There was Tumblr, and in Spain, in Europe, and in other parts of the world was Fotolog, which similarly, it was like you could post one photo a day, and the idea was more like photo-based stuff. Like people cared because you could only post one a day. It was like an important one, right? And then you could put like a little caption, and you could follow people on there. It wasn't a friends thing, but you would like follow people on Fotolog. And Instagram has always felt to me like the app version of Fotolog, like it developed. But Instagram basically opened up this new era, in my opinion, of social media where it was like you had this more global audience, right? You were posting not just for your friends. That's what Facebook was for. But you were posting for strangers to find you and to come to your account. So that's how you started getting, like, first it started with like photography. It was like originally, thank you guys. Thank you for the heart me's. It started with like hipster kids. It used to be the hipster app, right? With these like retro filters, and it was like photographers, people who fancy themselves photographers, that whole thing. And then it got more and more popular, and then the like Instagram aesthetic like developed. It had to be just inherently a more aesthetic app, which is what led to this sort of era of, curated aesthetic, because you were trying to attract people to your page, strangers to your page, simply through the aesthetics of, whatever. Twitter, similarly, global stage all of a sudden, not just friends. And TikTok sort of like YouTube similarly, right? You can't even be friends on YouTube.
No,
However, TikTok
only enemies.
created, but you know what I'm saying? Like you can't, like, just following
I'm
each
just
other, it
kidding.
doesn't make anything. But like
Yeah.
TikTok created this weird hybrid where it was like, it just created this hybrid of like, it's public, but you're also by adding the stitching and the duetting thing, suddenly it made it more actually interactive with individuals, not just comments. You didn't just interact as an audience. You didn't just like repost and comment and all that. The stitching and the duetting completely changed the
The
dynamic, in
entire
my
game.
opinion. Yeah, the entire game.
A lot faster.
Yeah.
Brought more people to your channel basically, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to maybe having to try and reach out to someone on YouTube and then trying to get a collaboration going. But like on TikTok, it's immediate, it's fast, and
Mm-hmm.
the faster the better. Like the faster, the more traffic, the more money.
Yeah.
It's TikTok's the best, man. Like honestly, like
It really is the
I don't
best.
think anybody could ever recreate it if it goes away. Like I think I don't even know what's gonna happen. It's just not gonna be the same, honestly. It's gonna suck so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. The banner thing, I'm on OBS on the computer, Carrie. So it's a
Yeah,
whole
Carrie.
other app.
Come on, Carrie, get with it. I'm just kidding.
Don't be mean to
I'm
Carrie.
in a great mood. Sorry, I'm sorry. I had a dinner at this it's like this ball, kind of like the tallest, like one of the tallest buildings in Dallas today.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been lived in Texas basically my whole life, and I've never been. And I went, and it was mid.
It was mid.
But I mean, I went though. I mean, so I was like,
That's
hey, this is
good.
pretty nice.
Going is
Yeah.
the thing. Going is good. Sometimes doesn't live up, but at least you did it. Now you can
Yeah.
say you did it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a helicopter next, but I'm scared to. I think Kobe Bryant, crashed and stuff, and so
Mm-hmm.
this just scares me.
Yeah.
A lot of famous people are like, don't, we're not doing helicopters no more. It's over.
Yeah, just like a lot of CEOs are like, we're not putting our photos up no more. Sorry.
Yeah, and they're out there. What do
Too soon? Too
you?
soon? Yeah, they are out there. Guys,
No,
scrape
the memes
LinkedIn
are.
before it's too late.
Yeah, the memes are out there already. I got back. I was like, oh my God, already,
Fan
bro? Like,
base, Hoff, I guess.
let's let this news breathe a little bit,
Yeah.
you know.
Ay, ay, ay.
Fan base is confusing to me because it really is like an amalgamation of a bunch of apps. Like you can post like Twitter, you can do
Ew.
an Instagram type photo or video post, you can do kind of like the TikTok reels, but then it also has like the Clubhouse thing, which is like TikTok Live but without video. It's just audio and like profile pictures.
Yeah, that's
So it
weird.
really is like stealing like all the apps and trying to like smash it into one.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's why I
And
think
then it
it's not going to do anything.
I agree.
is it new? Are you guys on it?
Yeah, I just made an
It's
account
new.
today just in
I
case.
made an account. I'm, this is my not my main account, but like I, I'm kind of anything that is seems promising. I'll go and make an account so that I have the username for at Andrew Scott Bell, just in case that turns out to be the place everyone is. Like I don't want somebody else having the Andrew Scott Bell
Okay, good,
username that
Kenny. I'll keep an eye out.
is uniform across all platforms for me. So, but this is my old band's account. So I'm just hanging on my
Is
alt.
everyone still around from that band, or here and on Earth and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, we were all the groomsmen in each other's weddings and stuff. Like we broke up in like 2010, but we've all been like best friends since. We've all been married and in each other's weddings like since. And right after the election, we got together and recorded a brand new song that we released on November 8th. So
Do you
like
think
3 days after the election, and now we're working on a brand new album. And the big thing we're doing is most because we were a band before music streaming apps, so all of our CDs, and we had several. All of our albums were like CDs only. Um,
do you think
so
Rock's gonna
the
like
big thing we're doing now is releasing our previously unreleased CDs on music streaming apps. Like we're doing like digital remasters and stuff.
oh yeah, that's gonna bring in some revenue. Might you guys might go viral
Oh, I doubt it.
from
I
this.
doubt it.
Hey, don't
I mean,
speak like that,
the song is cool. It's like a protest anthem. It's called "State of the Union." It's the one that's highlighted on our page. I think it could be great. It could, if it finds the right person. Apparently, Don Lemon listened to it. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know who that is.
You don't know
But
Don Lemon? He's a previous CNN news anchor. He's on
I got
TikTok now.
I got a question for you, just real fast. I'm sorry about I don't want to hijack your thing, Brenna, but
It's fine.
do you think Rock's gonna make a comeback soon? I feel like most of mainstream, a lot of the stuff that kind of drives culture, and this is not my opinion, just what I'm seeing really,
Mm.
is like just pop and rap. And honestly, I kind of gave up on rock, and I was about to just kind of rebrand Scorch Earth. I feel like I can't get any movement and stuff on rock, but I really like it a lot.
No, it's coming back. It's coming back because like grunge is coming back.
Mm, okay. Oh yeah.
On unrelated, Brenna. The hero who put the bullet in that man. Yeah. So it's destiny. It is destiny. It is love at first sight. I hope this man is protected. I'm praying for ancestors to keep a good eye on the man. You hear?
Yeah.
Um, if you didn't know this, Brenna, you know how I told you my husband had to go to the VA and he was rejected 7 times through insurance, right? Well, the very
Jeez.
first insurance we fought with was with United. That was the
Mm.
insurance that said to my husband that they will not cover a PET scan to see how much the cancer had spread, okay? It's also the same insurance company who kept us on the phone for 7 hours just to tell us they will not pay for gamma radiation for the brain cancer. So, like I said, this young man, he's my destiny, he's the love of my life, and like listen, destiny, you hear? Like brought him right to me, Yeah, man.
That's
I'm very
awesome.
sorry to hear that. I hope everything turns out good, and I'll pray for you guys.
He passed away. My husband passed away, so
Oh Lord,
it didn't
I'm
turn
so
out well.
sorry to hear that.
It did not turn out well, and I just want people to know, like, yes, it's kind of like, listen, I'm not advocating for like the unaliving of these people, but I need people to understand that when it comes to like insurance companies, they are responsible for deaths, okay? They have turned down too many people who have needed medical attention, and they have never been held accountable for it. So, let it happen if it happen. You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was somebody that was kind of burned by one of these companies. And ultimately, I think it's a very bad issue with just like the entire world. Like everywhere you turn, somebody wants to make a dollar doing literally anything that's in between that's they can find like a nook in, and it's very sad. I don't really like it. It's
and
I
and
I
if
think it's terrible.
and I'm about to make a video for this person. I mean, I'm not saying that he should go after Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO, but I'm not saying it, right? I'm just saying that maybe, Blue Cross Blue Shield and Mutual Omaha could, like, you know, and Elonia Musk, First Lady Elonia Musk. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, like, Brenna, have you seen the videos with all the pictures of the CEOs for the
No,
different
no.
insurance companies?
Elon Musk is the president, not the first lady.
Yeah, he's
Elon
No,
the
Musk is the
president.
president. Trump is the first lady.
Yeah.
No, he's the first lady. How dare you talk about Elonia Musk that way? How
No,
No,
dare
Elon
no.
is president.
I'm just saying.
He's president.
Elon's the puppet master. Trump is the
That's
puppet.
it, Enlightened, but I was going to go get more food. I'm going to turn my oven on, actually.
Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Carrie. Go ahead. My bad.
But no, unrelated, Brenna, you should get the book tomorrow. Like, so it says, okay? Like, you're supposed to get the book tomorrow.
I bought the book,
Y'all act.
but it's only
hold-
Kindle, and I don't
y'all,
have a Kindle.
sorry, I
but
want to
bought
respond
it.
to a comment. Y'all act outraged by a fucking profiteer of literal death. And act as though January 6th was like nothing. Got it.
A tourist visit.
No, and the thing is that a lot of people need to understand that insurance companies are debt dealers. They're banking and you're not surviving, even though they're taking your money. They're banking on that. And I feel for the mothers who had to file for their children in United who were turned down because their children had cancer, okay? So it's like, listen, you could argue all you want with the insurance company half stage. You could argue, but you get nowhere. I'm telling you, hours on the bloody phone, hours, and these people still turn them down. Like, listen, if it comes to like the bureaucracy behind insurance companies and how you argue with them, been there, done that. And I want to say United was the only one, but Mutual Omaha and Blue Cross Blue Shield are right in that bloody list. Like, I got beef with these two people to hear. I mean, Blue Cross Blue Shield literally said we only cover 30% of a cancer costs. That's what they said. 30%. That's it. Do you know how much one round of chemotherapy cost? It's $27,000 for one round of
God.
chemotherapy.
Oh my
And to
God.
only 30% of that is that's just wrong, man. It's just bloody wrong.
Carrie, Philippe, I told you, how I told you that Philippe is like a little bit obsessed with you? He's texting me now. He's like, oh my God, this lady is so funny. I'm Rofflin.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Rufflin'.
Philippe, I'm besties with Brenna, so me and stop flirting, stop. Plus I already told you, Philippe. Listen,
Hi, Piggy.
the love of my life is out there, and we've connected. Like, listen, this is destiny. Like, listen, I hope my man is protected. He is safe. I'm concerned for him. I don't know people that want to snitch. Or no, better beware. Your haircuts, I'll come off the owner. I mean, like, listen, leave this man alone. Leave this man is doing God's work. Okay, listen. He heard eat the rich and he said bet, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. He said fire up the barbecue.
I don't know. Eat the rich. I feel like that's too kind.
Well, no, because we are shit them out. You eat them and you shit them out. That's the demeaning part.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just feel like it's letting them off easy.
What message? Don't send me shit, Enlightened.
Don't forget, Andrew, we start eating while they're still alive.
Okay, all right. Well, that's better. That's
I mean,
better.
I would
Enlightened.
forget.
I want to see.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just want to
guillotine,
respond.
yeah, exactly.
Enlightened.
Guillotine is like a public show.
Let's figure
I
out
like
if you
that.
can pay directly first. I don't want you sending me shit and then me. Let's see if you can pay directly and I can like pick it up and get it shipped and stuff for you. Okay. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, unrelated. Ramsey starts school on Monday.
Yay.
And it's
It's a
good.
new. It's a new school, right? It's in.
Yes, it's Lincoln, and she's going to be put in a general population, but it's also concerning because they don't have a nurse on site.
What?
They don't have a
What?
nurse on site.
How is that possible? Jesus.
I don't know. So she has an EpiPen that she has to carry, and do you know what those emergency inhalers for seizures are? She has also
Yeah.
one of those, right? Because she suffers from atonic seizures.
Oh my
So
God.
they said that they know how to handle this, and I'm like, I want to stay in the parking lot for the first day of that school because I don't want to leave my picnic there just like that. Like, I'm concerned. And today we had a whole fight because it's light blue polos is the uniform for the school for her grade, right? And she said that bloody color is ugly, and why she have to wear that ugly ass color. So we know I start with the khaki pants, okay? So yeah, big beef today, beef today. Um, but the good news is, Brenna, through donations, I was able to get her EpiPen.
Yay. Oh my God,
Oh, good.
amazing. Oh, good.
Yeah, I was able to get the EpiPen and the blood thinners.
Amen.
'Cause
Yeah.
no, the
She'll
news.
she'll get over the colors when she gets to school and sees that everyone else is wearing that color.
Yeah.
Like I think it'll be fine.
My child holds a grudge. I don't know about you, but my child holds a grudge.
That's fair. Well, good for her. I hope she keeps that fire.
I mean, like my child holds a grudge. Like, there's one thing about this year picnic, like, you could do something to her last week and over a year ago, and she has still hold on to that. Like, like she just, I mean, I don't know where she gets it from. I don't. But yeah, my child she's very grudgeful.
Hey
So
Carrie,
yeah.
when I bought your book. I don't have a Kindle, but can I read? I can read it on like my phone or something, right?
I have the paperback now, life. We have
I'll
the
buy it
paperback.
again. I'll buy it again.
You could read Kindle. Brenna said she could read it off of her computer, right, Brenna? The Kindle? KDP, you
Okay,
could read it
cool,
off your
cool.
computer,
Well, I
yeah.
want the paperback. I want the paperback for my
The
bookshelf and everything.
paperback
So
was
I'll buy it a second time.
Yeah, the paperback was a whole thing because Amazon was supposed to send me a sample prior to them releasing the book in Amazon, but apparently Amazon don't work that way. They send the sample, but they already released it, so it's like, well, no, they don't.
It's a whole series, right? You should get the
Will
get
be a series. This is book one of 4 books. It's a total of 4 books.
hang on to those film rights. Just saying.
No, I am because I already told Brenna if Netflix picks it up. Brenna already know, right, Brenna?
Sorry, I'm answering. I know what?
I said if it becomes a film, Brenna already got
Oh,
dibs.
yes. Yes.
Brenna already got dibs. Like, Brenna said, director, like, listen, I mean, and you know what? I'm just saying this, right? If you want to see Imagine Me is going to be produced and ends up in a Netflix, don't say I never tell you, right? Yeah.
Okay, so I shouldn't be shopping it to directors. I should be shopping it around to producers. Got it.
Yes. Yes.
All right. That changes things.
Yeah.
It's good to know because I was gonna send it around to director friends of mine, but it's already been claimed.
We
So I'll
are.
send it to producer friends of mine.
Brenna's already at hand, so yeah, man. We already have
Okay.
Brenna. She threw the hat in prior to anybody else, so she gets dibs, yeah, man.
Well, I mean, this isn't my main account, Carrie. This is Andrew Scott Bell. I hope you know that Andrew Scott Bell is calling dibs on scoring it and writing the music for it. So, which won't be a problem. If Brenna's directing, she'll hire me. It's fine.
So that's also the thing too, right? Like, I am dead ass looking for like somebody in the higher ups for like it's nepotism, people who get accessibility to Hulu, Prime, and Netflix, so their shows go on that, right? It's like nepotism. But if I had a way to like send me book to one of them people, they're like, what's up? Because the
Well-
horror movies they're producing, like, it's ass. Like, mine will be better. Just saying.
Well, you're thinking of the wrong places. Like you're thinking of Hulu, Netflix, Amazon. You need to be. Those are the distribution centers. You need to be thinking of like Sony, Screen Gems, Blumhouse. Like Blumhouse is a subsidiary of Universal, for example, and they get a lot of their movies and series on Hulu.
Right. So how
So,
do you do that though? Like how does one do that?
well, that's what. So I'm a composer, but I have a manager, and my manager has a connection to Screen Gems, which is like Sony's subsidiary of horror for horror movies. But my contact at Screen Gems is in the music division. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is I'm gonna pass the book around.
Yeah.
I cannot make guarantees, but
No,
I'm
yeah,
gonna pass
just
that
pass
book
it
around.
around. Like let it make it circles. Like I said,
Yeah,
it's abject horror, but it also has a conversation um immigration, right? Like
yeah.
how it impacts children, because what people don't know is that migrant children are overwhelming the foster system right now because their parents were deported and these children were born here in America, so they are American citizens but their parents are not. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop and then come in. I'm gonna come in from my main account. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, but we're gonna miss you.
I've been meaning to ask this, God, but you have you have a southern accent. What area are you from?
Oh, where am I from? Texas.
Fucking
Same
you.
here, man. Where are you from?
Yeah, we talked before, Carrie. We were kind of almost neighbors before you moved.
Yes, you're right. It was you. Okay, you have to pardon. You have to pardon my memory because after traumatic events, right? My memories are like faulting right now. Um,
Hi, Andrew.
yeah, they're faulting. I forgot like crucial pieces of like items that I left behind, and I'm hoping the landlord like would have sent me back, right? But yeah, he is open because you never know with them people.
And Line said, Texas is
Yeah.
pretty if you like your rights getting stripped away.
Right.
So true.
Okay, so have you seen what Abat wants to pass though? Like it's scary. He wants to have ICE have accessibility to schools to like start finding out if children have documentation or not, to like yeah, look into it. Like is Missouri wants to do the same thing. They want to do the Bounty Hunter Act. They want to pass that.
Yes, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say Missouri is doing $1,000 or something for anyone who reports an undocumented person.
Nevada may try to pass that and they never fly, right? In Nevada, if I'm not mistaken, it was Nevada that tried to pass it, never me pass. The Bounty Hunter Act, I think, is something like that. It's called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a bounty hunter, like they pay citizens to like play police, right? Well, Abat already had something similar, but he wants to take it to the schools. He wants to like find out if kids at schools have documentation or not.
Oh my God, that's so fucking evil. That's awful. I when I saw that about Missouri, I was like, how can this be constitutional? Like, how can it be constitutional to like for some kind of bounty hunter law like that?
Yeah, that is pretty evil, man. I'm a immigrant, so I mean, how long until other groups start getting targeted for this
Can I ask
stuff
you
as
what
well,
country? What
and
country?
had
Wait, hold
given.
on. So, Carrie, I'm not seeing this Texas thing that you're saying.
You're not seeing it? Okay, so aside
It's in Odessa. I seen something about it in Odessa.
look
Can
into
you
it. It's
send me a link or
Do you know
something?
the immigration liar in this app? I'm trying to remember her name, the pink lady. Um, I call her the pink lady because she wear pink, right? She was talking about she was giving information to parents about their kids' rights in the schools in Texas because of what Abat was talking about. That's where I saw it. Like she was giving advice as to what kind of information they can and cannot give to ICE, and to inform their children what information they can and cannot disclose. Does that make sense? Like what they can and can't say, because they also have rights. Like they don't have to disclose all of their legal status, right? So she was just advising people because it was a conversation that Abat was having right around the same time when he said he wants to start defunding the children's hospitals because they are not turning down they're not asking for status to treat to treat the kids, right? And that one doctor came on this app and said no, you have rights, like you have rights, you don't have to disclose this information to get treatment in a hospital, right? So that it happened right around the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's thank you, Brenna, for having just existing really and being here because
No,
I feel like a
if you
lot of
could
people
look
don't
into
know
it,
this
Berna,
information.
I'm sorry, Nat. Yeah, if you could look into it, Berna, I don't know if it's actual legislation yet or if it's
Yeah.
just conversations that are happening. I'm not sure, but it was brought up already, right? About
Oh
what he
yeah,
wants
for
to do
sure.
with zero tolerance in immigration. I know that Missouri is already freaking doing the whole bounty hunter thing,
Right.
and
But in
you know
yeah,
that
I'm just because I'm looking it up. I'm just saying Supreme Court says that the Supreme Court struck down a Texas law. This was back in the 80s that allowed public schools to charge tuition to undocumented students. The court ruled that denying undocumented students in education would have negative. So basically, the federal government guarantees certain rights. So in the United States, undocumented students have the right to attend public schools, including in Texas, regardless of their immigration status. Schools can ask for proof of residency, but they cannot ask for proof of citizenship or immigration status. There's also some limitations to what a school can share what information a school can share with ICE.
okay. So that's by district, though, Brenna, because
No, this is like we're talking federal.
federal. Okay, well, see, they're not following it because Westwood in Palestine, Texas, where I was, they asked for status. They literally asked for status.
Yeah, you
Like,
could report that.
We
okay,
should, because that
Yeah,
I mean
you
that stuff
should.
happens.
You should report that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
okay. I
I'm
want
I'm born I'm born in
Westwood.
Mexico. I've been living in Texas my whole life.
Yeah, because
This
when
stuff, the people just kind of end up doing whatever they want until somebody, stands up, I guess.
that's to
So
the
I mean, yeah.
superintendent, right? I have to contact the superintendent, Brenna. Is that correct? From the
I'm
school.
not sure. I'm not
No,
sure who. No, probably not the superintendent.
Okay, because
there's always some
most.
type of overseeing like commission or
Okay,
governmental body that you can report them to.
okay,
You
because
know,
It would be like a
that.
federal thing, so you'd probably have to report
yeah,
it to some federal sort of.
Okay, because
the
I'm
big
pretty sure I'm
boss.
not. I'm pretty sure my child wasn't the only migrant child that was asked for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because Lincoln, where she's going, where she starts Monday, they never asked for none of that. They just asked for her shots to be up to date and for transcripts. That's it. They never asked like, is she legal? Like, what's your status? None of that. Like, we didn't have that problem. I didn't have that problem in the Lincoln. They don't. They just want to know that she's immunized to be like, put in a class. And that's it. That's all it was.
Yeah. Yeah, access to student records should only be allowed if the requesting agency has a valid court order or subpoena in compliance with FERPA, the FERPA, or immigration laws or regulations. If ICE shows up at the school office and seeks access to student records or the student themselves, the school administration should ask the ICE personnel to identify the legal basis of their request. Unless there's a legally mandated basis for their actions, they need not and should not be permitted access to such student information, besides directory information, to the extent permitted by school district policy. The school district's attorney may be able to review the subpoena to determine if it is sufficient to implicate the FERPA exceptions discussed above and whether notice of the subpoena must be given to the parents, and to ensure that the school adequately cooperates with ICE's subpoena to the extent required by law. Yeah. So yeah, and right now, according to the federal government, it's they can't just do that. They have to have like a subpoena that's supposed to, yeah. But if they asked status, you should report that. Probably to a federal agency. You know what I mean?
To the DOJ.
To the DOJ.
Yeah, I want to look
I would
into
report it
it.
now, not.
Yeah. No,
report it to
I'm
me.
no longer in this data Texas, but
Doesn't matter. I would still report it to now.
Yeah,
to the
it
current
doesn't
DOJ.
matter.
Yeah.
No, I have to figure out because in my mind it's like if they did it to my child, they're doing it to other parents with like
Yeah.
similar situation.
Well, that's what I'm
You know
saying. Just make a report to the DOJ.
Yeah.
You don't.
Got it.
They're not gonna like chase after
Yeah,
you.
it takes them forever to start investigating anything like that. It's probably going to be like 2 years before they even look into it.
And 2
They're
years from now
way
will
far
be
behind.
Trump's DOJ. So I would just report it now, so it's on record with a DOJ that will actually.
I want to just report it now. Yeah, reported no. I mean,
that's good. Get the process moving. Yeah.
yeah, no, I might as well do it with no because I did not know prior to that. Like, no, I know, right? That it's not legal to do that because in Texas, you never fucking know that the problem, right? Pardon my language, but like, Texas is like, I don't like to say this because it's not like it's not factually correct, but it feels like Texas is its own country to an extent. You know what I mean? Like the things that happen in Texas, like here. Well, to be fair, in Florida, it's kind of fucked up, around DeSantis, but yeah. Um, no, but yeah, that may happen. So I'm gonna report it. I'm gonna report it, no, because yeah, they didn't do that fuck shit to somebody else. So to the people in Missouri, like if you're an immigrant in Missouri, like I hope they leave. Like I hope they start leaving. Like that bounty thing. Like that sounds dangerous. Like you think that could pass, Brenna? Like you think they actually be able to pass it?
Everybody, I want to call out Jeffrey Quinones. I don't know if we can do that, but he voted for Trump. So I mean, uh, good job, dude.
Good. Wow.
I'm kidding.
Congratulations.
I am kidding. Obviously, sorry. I'm very. But yeah, you know what? As I was basically raised here since when I came out when I was 2. Um, that's why I'm basically American. This is all I know. So this stuff is coming up. It comes up. It's been a thing forever. I don't know, man. It's just you got to stick together as a group of people. I wanted to jump back for a second to that kind of energy that you were talking about. That guy who took out the CEO of some, you know who. And I was just like, oh, come on, man. Just
You just went silent.
Jenny.
No, we're losing you.
Yeah, it says
Although
his
some of these people
service
that
is
are
iffy.
Ando, we're losing you. We're not hearing it. You're coming in and out.
So
I'm sorry, I'll tap in a second.
Okay, so enlightened, yes, yo me moví a Illinois, yo ya no estoy en Texas. Y me tuve de mover en un lugar que no es un immigration sanctuary city, state, not city. So no, yo ya no estoy en Texas, yo estoy en Illinois. Aquí estoy en un shelter y bueno, que estoy pasando bien pateo. Pero ya estamos bien, yo y la niña estamos más y menos, ya estamos bien. Y la situación está difícil todavía porque no tengo casa, estoy buscando trabajo. Técnicamente estoy en documentada ahorita, pero estoy en immigration limbo. Estoy esperando para un abogado para hacer un status adjustment con el I-360 Surviving Widow. Es lo que estoy esperando. Y así consigo mis papeles, ¿no? So, eso es lo que está pasando ahorita. No tengo casa, estoy buscando trabajo, tengo que buscar un apartamento con la niña. Ya la ingresé en la escuela. Y pues aquí ya vamos. Brenna sabe bastante de ello, porque yo no hablo bastante con ella. Pero sí, aquí ya voy. I'm glad you have Spanish speaking people here too, Brenna. As your mom.
Yeah, and Lane's
Yo hablo
a regular.
español, hablo portugués, hablo italiano, y pues mi lenguaje indígena es Mupan Maya, Captel Maje. Sí, soy multilingüe.
¿De dónde eres?
Yo soy beliceña y también soy Hijan, soy de Jati. So, de parte de mi papá soy beliceña, parte de mi mamá soy de Jati. So, yeah.
Debe ser la mejor. Mucha suerte.
Gracias.
Yeah. And Layton speaks English too. He's born and raised in America, but he only speaks Spanish to me for some reason.
And now here I thought he only spoke Spanish, Brenna.
I know. He's peruano, mexicano, and
It's like
Los Angeles.
Brenna needs to practice her Spanish more.
Yeah, basically, literally. Oh, nice.
No,
Sage.
because no, I had Shadi telling me to move to New York, right? Like come to New York. Like Shadi, how the hell I get to New York? Like my car barely made it to freaking Illinois.
Yeah.
I heard it gets easier with every language you learn. You start getting it a little bit. Is that true?
Honestly, I tell people all the time that I could only cuss people out in a different languages because at this point in time I could only talk shit in a multiple languages,
yeah,
which is a privilege, you know. So yeah,
it is.
basically yes, yeah, I would. That's actually a problem I'm having in this year shelter is they
You
make the
haven't
child
heard that, Jeffrey? Well, tough titties. Sorry.
tough to do.
Tough titties.
Do you say cool
That's
beans?
one I haven't heard in a while.
Do you say cool beans too? Do you say cool beans a lot, Brenna? Like cool beans? You say that too?
I used to say it more.
No, because when I hear tough titties, I think like, oh, cool beans. Like I remember cool beans. Like we did tell
Beans and Nito Mosquito.
Nido mosquito. Yeah, but you see, we did tell for we age right now. We did tell for we age right now. Man.
Jeffrey, I wonder if that was due to the Republican policies passed by Republican Congress. Sorry. So God is up here. God wants a fight, Carrie. So I'm loving this, but I did promise God a fight. Let's get some fucking rabble rousers up
Yeah,
in
we
here.
was gonna try to we were trying to rile people up.
Yeah, man. Invite Jeffrey
Yeah, Jeffrey, you want to hop up? You want to
Yeah,
tussle?
man, Jeffrey. Yeah, man. Like,
Yeah.
give God something to do.
I would love to
Yeah,
see that.
kitty,
I don't.
kitty.
I'm in all this. I'd
I
love
have
to
to
see
do
that.
that because yeah,
You're
telling me
coming
like
in
they
and
have time.
out, Nando. You're like breaking up.
I'm
Yeah,
so
it
sorry. I'm
says
driving.
Okay.
I'm driving. I'm so
You
sorry,
can't
but
be
yeah, I'd
live.
love to
You
see
can't
that.
be Nando. I gotta
can't
drop you.
be
You can't be
live.
live when you're driving. You cannot
I'm
be.
not driving.
I gotta drop you because the
Too
audio's
late.
going.
Damn.
Sorry, dude.
Hey,
Too
come
late.
up.
And then he said it out loud. I'm like, come on.
Spoken like a true liberal. Oh, you afraid of coming up, Jeffrey?
Come up, Jeffrey. Hey, come up.
Oh, we're bullies.
Okay, I want
Jeffrey, you
drop.
came in here trying to. You came in here. You can leave. We're not bullies. You are like completely free to leave.
So I want drop because I don't want people in the shelter tell me like, yeah, they make nice. It's late at night. You mean because I have to deal with shelter folks and
You don't
you know.
wanna. You don't wanna get into a fight.
No, I don't listen. That's still fighting.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So let me know when you get the book, okay? Like just holler at me. And
I
say
will.
when
I
you
will.
get.
I'm keeping an eye out for it for sure.
You mean Jeffrey, do what you want, Jeffrey. Come up or you don't. Like freedom of speech does not mean freedom of complications. Like you know what I mean? Saying like when people come with the freedom of speech, you gotta catch the right person. Good night, Brenna. Good night, Kat.
Carrie.
Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night. It was good talking to you again.
Yeah. Hi, Michael.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great. Are you
How's the
looking
move
for
going?
a fight?
How's the how's the move going?
Good. I mean, it's not my move. It's Philippe's move. I'm at my
Well,
place.
no, I seen your. It's equal either way. Hope it goes good. I don't agree with you politically, probably 80% of the time, but I love the way you have discussions. It's awesome.
Thank
That's all I
you.
wanted to say. I'm not going to, and you and I probably disagree 8 out of 10 times. Love how you have the discussion. I wish everything well for you. I'm not a Trumper, even though I voted for him, but at the same time,
That makes you a Trumper. What do you think a Trumper is if not someone who votes for Trump?
no, people disagree. I'm married, and I don't know if you've been in that spot, but I agree with my wife 7 out of 10 times. I probably agree with my boss more
Wait,
than I
but what do
agree
you
with.
think makes a Trumper?
There's no such thing as a Trumper. There's no such thing as
So then then how can you not be a Trumper? What does that mean?
Well, I base my votes off of policy, not feelings.
Okay, so you're a Trumper though.
What policy?
No, I do policy. I'm being respectful. I love your lives. I love the way you talk and have civil discussions. But at the same time, when the co-signers jump in, that's when I go, oh, don't do that. Guys, come on. Be nice. Be civil. I live by Flint, Michigan. I watch our water situation get really bad. And
So
people
you
got
voted for a guy who wants to deregulate things even more?
Yeah, no, government should be involved. I'm more of a libertarian than I am a Republican, actually.
Libertarians are much more for deregulation.
Oh, yeah, and so am I. I'm for deregulation.
Well, but you understand that the reason.
No, if you
Like
want to cook
Flint
food out of your
has-
own house and sell it, you should be able to do it. But if you're dumb enough to go, hey, I'm going to take that chance.
Really?
Right. So if companies want to put lead in the water, in the drinking
No.
water, they should be able to
Well,
do
what
it,
happened
right?
what happened in Flint, Michigan, right?
Yeah.
If you look it up, there's a YouTube video of Mayor Dane Walling going, here's the Flint. We're going to switch our water source because it's cheaper. And then they didn't realize that, hey, when you flush chemicals through pipes, people are going to get lead poisoning. They waited a year and a half. There's a video of them going, here's a Flint. They hit the button, and it was all Flint City Council. They voted 7-1 to do it, to vote for
Right,
it.
but you understand that they switched it to a cheaper. That water source
No, they
came
went
from.
from Carignan. Carignan is what it's called. I live in Michigan. I live like less than 10 minutes from Flint. Flint City Council made that vote.
To
Guess who they
switch
blamed it
to-
on? But
switch
why did they
to-
blame it on? They blamed it on the governor a year later. Why?
But okay. We're talking about
all
regulations, right?
the
You want? I don't
meetings.
care. Sure, let's blame the city council. I don't give a shit. But you understand that they switched to a water source that was. Why do you think it was more poisonous?
Well, they switched the water source because
Why was it? No. Why was it more poisonous?
because when you switch when they hit that button, they flush chemicals through a pipe.
Right. Who
And
flushed
then
the chemicals?
it stripped lead. No,
Who
it
flushed
stripped
the
lead
chemicals?
off I used to be a plumber back in the 90s.
Who flushed the chemicals?
Mayor Dane Walling.
Oh, Mayor, he went to the store and he
Yeah.
bought some chemicals and
No,
he
no,
poured
no,
them
no,
down
no,
the
no.
drain.
No, when they switched the water source, it jacked everything up. Like
I'm
I said,
asking
you,
you, right? And I'm
No,
asking
I'm
you.
trying to tell you. If you watch the video, Mayor Dane Walling goes, "Here's the Flint." We're
Firstly,
gonna save
okay.
money."
Sorry. One rule here is like a YouTube video is not evidence of
No,
anything.
I mean,
okay?
it's evidence. It's evidence. It's evidence.
I
When
can
the
make
mayor,
I can make YouTube videos of whatever the fuck I
No,
want.
no, but
real
Flint
evidence
City Coun-
exists outside of YouTube as well. You know that.
if I can finish,
Yeah.
and you can light me up after it. Mayor Dane Walling, Flint has gone to hell after 1965. They decided, like, hey, we're going to go bankrupt. Detroit was the first city, I think, or no, San Antonio, then Flint, decided they were going to claim bankruptcy. They go, hey, we're going to do the cheapest thing we can do. We're going to get out of our debt. We're going to do everything cheaper. There is a video. Here's the Flint for Flint
No,
City
I
Council.
understand, dude. I am not. That is
No,
fine.
no,
No,
I
no one's
understand you.
arguing
That's-
with
that's
you
what-
on
that's-
like who flipped the switch and whatever. Like I
No,
don't know
no,
why
no.
that's the focus on it.
No, the focus needs to be that there are very, very bad Republicans, tons of bad Republicans.
Yeah.
There are very bad Democrats.
Sure.
It's got to get to a point where people need to
Right.
go, hey, there's common sense involved here, which we can't do anymore. We have to hate each other. I'm not doing that.
Right, but my point is, I feel like you're getting lost. You're ignoring what we're asking. You're against regulations.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Okay, so and I'm
because
asking you, and the
foreign-
reason I'm pointing this out is because you understand that regulations are the only thing that keeps poison out of waters, right?
But if you would let me answer, this is my point.
I've asked you multiple times.
If people want to open a restaurant in their house and people can come in there and eat eggs or do omelets at this house, that's your choice. There's
Right.
got to
So,
be a point.
and if a government or if a company wants to dump chemicals in the water, that's their choice, right?
Oh, hell no.
Well,
By
that's
all
what a
means, no.
regulation does, dude. You
No,
understand
I
that a
live in
regulation
middle.
is what stops
I live
that.
in the middle of Michigan. I live in the middle of Michigan. The only reason why Flint got lead poisoning and Legionnaire's disease is because it became political. They made it political.
Oh,
they
okay.
made it
Politics.
political.
Politics created chemicals. Gotcha. Okay. Well,
No. In Flint, the only reason why people got lead poisoning, they went, they can't afford to say anything to
So
us.
again, but you understand, regulations are what tell companies not to put poison in water. Do you understand that very simple concept?
Who gets to make that decision, though?
The government regulates.
The government. So you're a full
So
force.
you don't believe in regulations?
You
think we should allow- well, okay, so you don't think-
common sense stuff. Common sense, I do.
Okay, common sense, like what?
Common sense, like, hey,
Like don't put poison in the water.
yeah, don't put poison in
Okay.
the water. But
you keep saying, hold on.
no, but
you
if
keep
you would let
saying,
me finish, you would probably agree with me. Flint City Council voted 7-1 to switch their water source without investigating it, and a year after they did it, people started getting lead poisoning and Legionnaire's disease.
Sure.
And then
So
they went,
you want there to be more regulation. In fact,
no, I don't want. No,
It
what I
sounds like you
want
do.
is
It
to
sounds
use
like you want
common
a
sense.
requirement.
No, common sense.
It sounds
No,
like you
no,
want a
common sense.
requirement to test water before.
No, I'm common sense. I'm common sense.
Well, it
I
seems
live
like.
by Flint. I
Well,
live here. I went to the city council meetings. I watched them vote to switch it. You know why they switch it? Because it's
Right.
going to save us money.
Right. Okay. But common sense, homeboy. Let me just point out the Republican ideology is if you can cut costs,
No,
cut
I'm
them.
not
Right.
a Republican.
I'm not saying you are. I mean, you voted for Trump. You're not a Trumper. You know, if you vote Republican,
I
you're not a
voted for
Republican.
Gary
Whatever.
Johnson too.
Okay. Great. Good job. So I'm not calling you a Republican. I'm saying that it's the Republican idea. If you can cut costs, cut them. Right? I mean, that's literally the entire premise of the Doge bullshit. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you agree?
No, I heard you say the Doge bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you want them to go, hey, we're giving $4 million to
Okay, so
Columbia
you agree with me that
University
so you agree.
the
You want them to
flow
cut
rate of,
costs. You want them to cut
ketchup.
costs, right? You want them to cut costs.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay,
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Okay, stop.
You
Stop.
don't want
Stop.
do you,
Stop.
you,
Stop.
Do you want them to?
Bro, let me fucking get through a fucking thing. You keep
Dude,
going off
I'm
into
not
these
your
things. I'm
enemy.
asking
I'm
you.
not your enemy. I agree with you a lot of
You
times.
are being rude. I'm asking you simple questions, and I'm asking you to stop once
You
you
have to
answer the
let me
question.
answer, though.
I have been letting you answer, and now I'm cutting you off
Okay,
because every time
go
I
ahead,
ask you a
ask the
question, you start
question.
veering off. You start
No,
veering
ask
off.
the
So
question.
I'm trying to reel
Go.
you back in, dude. Reel you
Go
back
ahead.
in. Okay.
Go
So
ahead. Calm down.
you understand. Don't tell me to calm down. Don't you tell me to
Or
fucking
don't
calm
calm down.
down.
Get
Stop
mad.
interrupting me. Stop speaking over me. I have let you finish several times, and you keep veering off and not
Okay,
answering the
go.
questions.
Agreed. Go. My bad. I apologize. How's
Thank
that?
you.
Go.
Appreciate it. Great. So, okay. So, number one, I asked you, you agree that the Republican stance is to cut costs wherever you can cut costs, right?
Oh, yeah. Democrats too.
Okay, great. But mainly Republicans, right? You
No,
understand
both of them do it. I work in legislature.
okay,
in
but
Michigan.
but this whole Doge thing, is that a Democratic platform thing?
The Doge thing? No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay. And
Honey,
what's the point of the Doge thing? Just in simple terms, make it like a single sentence. Can you do it?
easy. Can I answer? I'll be very brief. Less than 20 seconds, I promise.
You're already taking up 10
Columbia.
of them.
All right, great. Columbia University, they get $10 million a year for turtle tunnels. They get another 5 to test the flow rate of ketchup. Oh, we need paint over here. And what's the flow rate of paint? I mean, there's a lot of stupid shit that we pay for.
Okay, so Doge is what?
Wow,
The purpose of Doge is what? Cutting costs, correct? I'm going to answer the question for you because I can't, for some fucking reason, you can't seem to keep things simple. Doge is for cutting costs. That is not a Democrat thing.
Who
okay?
owes you how much?
There's
why?
I'm gonna fucking steer this. Stop. You want you voted for Trump okay, so Doge is a Republican policy. It is
I
not a
didn't vote for
Democratic
Trump.
one.
The country did.
But you just said you voted for Trump, Michael.
You
Oh, I
said you
did. No, I did. I
Okay.
did.
Okay,
But at
cool.
the same time,
So you
popular
voted for
vote,
Trump.
which
Okay.
You guys seem to be on. They voted for him this time.
What
Why
the fuck
did they
is
do
okay,
that?
Michael? Thank you for fucking proving my point. You are incapable of listening to me for 2 seconds
Dude,
without
I'm not your enemy.
changing the fucking subject.
Actually,
Dude, no, if I don't care if you're my enemy or not. I don't care what you view yourself as. I'm trying to have a simple
No, I
fucking
like-
conversation, and you keep interrupting me to make points that are not fucking relevant, Michael. Do you want to be an adult and just have a
have to
simple
let me
conversation? Or do you
finish.
want to keep being rude and pissing me off?
I'm sorry I disagree with
Great,
you.
thank you. That's not why I'm pissed off, Michael. That is not why I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because you keep interrupting me to make points that are completely irrelevant to this very simple conversation I am trying to get through with you.
Ask a question, I'll answer.
Great. So, Doge is a Republican policy for cutting costs compared to Democrats who are very much against what Doge is about to do. Correct or no? One word answer, Michael.
Oh, easy. Dems are against it because they want
One word answer, Michael. You get one fucking chance. One word answer. Yes or no?
Easy. Calm down.
No, I'm not calming
You
down.
asked me about Doge. It's not
One
even
word
an
answer.
affront.
Yes or no?
Michael,
Do you want
you're gonna
to
have to calm down,
waste
Michael.
money? You want to waste money?
All right. Bye, Michael. You can't follow simple
Michael can't
instructions.
calm
You're not
down.
worth fucking talking to. Simple instructions.
Michael,
Maybe
try
you should
calming
listen
down.
to me.
Right, and I didn't even
Calm
get a turn.
down, dude.
Because Michael couldn't calm down.
My God.
He's so riled up. Maybe
Sorry,
he'll calm
God.
down
I
and come
should've
back
let you
later or
take it.
something.
Yeah, he never answered. I said
No, it's fine.
One word answer. And you couldn't even follow that simple instruction because you're too emotional, Michael. Come on.
They act like government regulation only regulates people in their homes and not big corporations and things.
So, by
That's
the way,
their job too.
I'm going to explain what Michael was not allowing me to explain. A very simple concept, and I would have loved your fucking engagement on it, Michael. But for some reason, you just don't even want to listen to a single thing I say and follow a simple instruction. So you say you're for regulations, but only common sense ones, right? And I was asking you how you feel about cost cutting, and apparently you are for them because you like Doge. You think Doge is obvious. You say Doge is cutting obvious costs. Okay, well, thank you for basically making the point that I was about to make, which is like some costs people are going to look at and be like, well, that's an obvious cost to cut, right? So I'm asking you why you don't fucking think that a city council, and I get it, now hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight 20 and you're gonna be like, no, well, they changed it and it was poison. I don't disagree with that, but to a lot of people saying, oh, hey, there are two supplies of water, one is cheaper than the other, we should just switch it. To a lot of people, that's an obvious cost to cut. To a lot of fucking people. So when you say, okay, so I'm saying, maybe you want a regulation that would require the government to test water before switching to a new source. And you say, no. You just want them to follow, to be, what was the word he said again? Common sense. Common sense. You just want common sense, but you don't want regulations. But also you are a cost cutter. So again, how does that math? Because in another city, they're going to look at two different sources of water. They're going to see the cheaper one. They're going to pick the cheaper one, and everything's going to turn out fine, right? And in that case, you're going to be like, well, obviously, that was the common sense one. But no, they just got lucky. So it sounds like you believe, I mean, if you're smart about this, if you're actually, like, the actual common sense would be, since you don't fucking know when you're going to cut costs, if the alternative is going to be good or not, or if it's actually going to poison people, maybe you should have rules that say, okay, if you're going to switch to a whole new source, you got to test the source first and verify that it's okay. That's common sense to me. That is absolutely common sense. But no, that's not the kind of common sense you want.
It'd be common sense for you to go toss a salad and stop yapping, dumb bitch.
Wow, Quangus, you got me. Cool.
He waited all that time.
Exactly, Michael.
For that.
They didn't test the source.
It wasn't even funny.
Michael, they didn't test the source. Correct. Thank you. So I agree with you. They should be required to test the source.
Test the source on a regular basis. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. You want a regulation that requires testing the source on a regular basis. Very simple. Very simple regulation. But you want people to be common sense, to make common sense decisions, and also you want them to cut costs. That is what they did, right? You actually had the whole Flint water thing is what your policies lead to. You want no regulation or just common sense regulation, but you don't want regulations that like require water testing and shit, apparently. You want people to only common sense make decisions for things like what water source to choose, and you want them to also cut costs. So according to your rubric, they did that technically.
I'm going to need a definition of common sense.
Yeah, exactly. Common sense is some
him.
fucking bullshit. No one's arguing otherwise, Miles. Right now we're talking about whether or not regulations are good or bad. Michael came in here saying he is libertarian, which, doesn't believe in regulations. He's against regulations and stuff. He says he's for some regulations, but like common sense ones. But he's also, but his whole thing is the Flint water crisis, right? And I'm saying that's fucking ironic because if you want less poison in your water, you should probably be a little supportive of more regulations rather than fewer of them. And he was saying, no. He wants people to act with common sense. And so I'm pointing out, he's also someone who thinks that cost cutting is common sense. So That's the thing. I'm not even fucking blaming a party in this, guys. I'm straight up not. We're talking about something so simple. Regulations and poisoned water. He's the one who brought up Flint, by the way, ironically, when talking about how he's against regulations and shit.
Right. It's all about cutting costs. Got to cut those costs. Not pay people more. Let's just make things cheaper, regardless of the consequences.
You'll explain it to me. I'm quite clear on it. Do you want to take Incred Toad, God, while I go put my pizza in the oven?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Yeah, common sense is subjective. That's the point. If you're against cost cutting, common sense to you is to pick the cheaper option every time. So, they did. Thank you, Jeffrey.
What's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, and the button's clicking. What's on your mind? What's going on?
So I guess what's on my mind after listening for the last couple of minutes is, it seems the perspective that we're coming against regulation for is it's sort of a, you either have regulation or you don't. I think a lot of the idea about it currently is that it's all about balance, right? And if you have too much of the same sort of thing happening for too long, things can become imbalanced. And so I don't necessarily think people are arguing for no regulation. I think people are arguing for a rebalance of regulation.
You mean less regulation?
Well, potentially, if it's imbalanced, then yes, you would want less regulation. It's like a seesaw, right? You gotta put weight on the other end. If it gets too far to one side, you have to rebalance it. And
okay, what is the downside to more regulation?
Well, I think more regulation creates sort of an environment where things are more inefficient, and that's one of the arguments, and I think that's a referendum for this past election, is that when you have too much bureaucracy and too much government over time with no rebalancing, things become
I have another question though, real quick. That was awesome. What is the consequences of, or the repercussions of not enough regulation?
Not enough regulation could
you're talking about a balance.
Yeah, sure. It would lead to negative consequences. Absolutely.
Like bad things to people's health and well-being.
Sure. Yeah.
So you're putting the thing I don't like about that is you're putting people's health and well-being. It's money based. It's like, yeah, we want people to be okay, but not if it costs too much money. You're putting a price on people's life and well-being, and I don't think that's a good thing.
So I'm not equating it to the cost of money or the cost of whatever the government's spending. What I'm trying to say is there is absolutely a balance, and I think you have to accept that. And if you get to a point where there's so much regulation that, like, too much regulation hurts the same way that too little regulation hurts. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I think that this election...
what my point is like too much regulation, things will be a little more expensive, sure, but people will be more safe and healthy. Not enough regulation.
I'm not looking at it from a
people are in more danger.
I think if there's too much regulation...
We kind of have to, don't we?
I mean, from a fiscal standpoint, maybe, but I think that if you
safety and well-being is the point of regulation.
No, but if you have too much regulation, then nothing gets done.
Okay, like what?
Because of money. Because money is the issue. That's what I'm saying. Do you really feel comfortable putting a price tag on people's health and well-being?
No, not necessarily. No.
Nothing gets done. Like what? Do you have an example of that?
No, I'm just saying everything's in a balance, and I think.
I call bullshit on that. That nothing gets done if there's too many regulations.
Okay, so you don't think that there's a difference between low regulation and over regulation?
No, I'm asking you, Incred Toad. You made a statement, Incred Toad. I'm going to answer you. I'm going to answer you, Incred Toad. You said when there's too much regulation, too much according to you, nothing gets done. And so I'm asking you for an example of that.
Okay, and what I'm saying is your perspective is that there's no such thing as too little or too much regulation.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you said that when
Okay,
there's too
so
much
then why are you being
regulation,
aggressive towards
nothing
me
gets
when I
wrong.
say that I think
And
a lot
Toad,
of
I'm
people
asking you, you
agree?
said nothing gets done, so give me an example of when nothing got done because there was too much regulation.
Government.
Wow.
So this
Okay.
election
May
just
I?
proved that
Please.
people are sick of over bureaucracy and over regulation to a certain extent.
Okay.
All I'm saying
What
is
what what happens? What
there's a
happens? Wait a second.
continuum.
Hold on. Let me break this down a little bit simpler. What happens if regulation starts costing too much money? Then we don't have that thing. If we don't have that thing, we go back to the bad. People don't have that thing, like water, food, so on and so forth. So if you overregulate it too much, it's just you turn into it's not a good thing. So we don't never. That's what Brenna's saying. Point out a thing that's overregulated to where we don't have it anymore.
What I would say is I'm not necessarily sure that just because there's regulation means it's more expensive. My issue, and I think a lot of people could agree with this, is that with more regulation, it becomes less efficient. So
Okay.
whether it's the cost or efficiency, I think that there's where the balance needs to come into play.
Right. So
People want
can I
a
answer this in
balance.
Cred Toad?
Sure.
Here's the thing. You're right. Sometimes regulation makes it puts up, let's say, obstacles for getting certain things done. Do you agree?
Sure.
Great. Those obstacles, the point of regulation is often those obstacles are intended to, like, for example, keep us safe, right? So, like, for example, let's say, and you're not giving me an example of how regulations stopped things from getting done, but I'll give you one, right? Let's say that a skyscraper wants to get, or, a company wants to build a skyscraper, or let's say like a mill, right? A company wants to build a mill in the middle of like rural, I don't know, fucking Georgia, right? I don't know where you're located. And there are certain rules that they set up, right, for certain regulations. Actually, even easier. Let's do Texas with oil. They want to, someone wants to fucking, drill, baby drill in a area, whatever, and they want to set up some actual, like, whatever, oil. What's the fucking name? Is it oil drills, actual, or oil wells? I don't even know.
Oil rigs.
Thank you.
Rigs.
That's the word. Sorry. I'm like running on very little sleep. Words are dropping out of my head tonight. Oil rigs, whatever. So they're but they are stopped from doing that. Why is that? Well, because there's a regulation that says that you can't set up an oil rig within, let's say, 1 mile of a schoolyard. And the reason they set that up is because they figured out that within 1 mile of a school of an oil rig, you're going to get some pretty nasty stuff that's going to actually do lots of harm to little babies, okay? To kids. So yeah, so in that case, this plan for this oil rig is going to be stopped. But the reason it's being stopped is because there's a regulation in place that says you can't hurt these people like this. That's why you got to do it a different way. So then let's say, okay, like they're going to say, all right, well, how about we put it over here? Now, if that new place that they want to put it, like, doesn't go against any regulations, they're going to go right ahead. But the reason for the regulation, the reason, like, that it's supposed to be there to stop something from getting done is 9 times out of 10 because, like, you need to keep people safe. Otherwise, they would put that oil rig in the fucking playground if they could. So that's why you do regulations, because otherwise people will do whatever the fuck they want. And yeah, they're meant to create obstacles and make it harder to do whatever the fuck you want. You should not want corporations to do whatever the fuck they want. They already do close to that, right? But the only reason, for example, you have to make at least minimum wage, that's technically a regulation. Regulations are laws. Like, we're using this word regulation. It's just a type of law. And it's not even like an official one, right? That's not like an official title. It's just a law that says, like, hey, man, you're not allowed to do this under these conditions. And it regulates how people act, mainly corporations. That's it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying in that scenario, and I think a lot of people would agree, right? There's going to be people that are like, no, let them do whatever they want. I think most people could meet in the middle and say, yeah, don't drill within whatever X miles of, in this scenario, a playground or a school. But I think on the flip side, we're not considering the fact that these regulations are in place for not necessarily, let's call it positive intentions. We're not taking into context that maybe we don't want to drill in this area because we don't want to increase the oil supply because we want to push something else, or we don't want to disrupt
When does that
global
happen?
oil
Yeah, when
supply.
what regulations do that?
Well, no, I'm just saying this example. You're assuming
but
that
in
every
cartoon-
regulation has a positive.
No, I'm not.
backstop to
But-
it.
If you could point out one that doesn't and make your
for
point, that
oil,
would be
Yeah.
great.
she just brought up oil. She brought up oil.
Yeah.
And in her example, she's immediately assuming, without regulations, an oil company is going to drill within a mile of a school and
We have
disrupt the health of children. I mean, that's
we
her
have
example, not
regulations
mine. That's her
We have
example,
regulations.
not mine.
It's
What I'm
500
saying is
it's
there's other
500
things to
feet.
consider.
or yards.
500
yards of a school.
Whatever it is. What I'm
500 yards
saying
of a
is,
school.
why is it always immediately the regulation is in place to protect someone or protect something?
Well, it depends on the regulation.
Because these regulations exist because companies and
but
corporations and
there's
people have done these
geopolitical
things.
implications.
No.
and strategic
Let me finish.
implications.
Nah. No.
Okay.
These regulations are in place because these companies and people have done these things, and the bad
Right.
stuff happens. So they're like, "Oh, now we have to make a rule." That's the reason, That's the reason
And
why we
I-
have regulations.
I agree with that. Unchecked capitalism, unchecked corporations without regulations, not a good thing. Too much regulation or weaponized regulation, also not a good
Okay,
thing.
but
and that's
Roberto,
my
that's why
perspective,
we're trying to
and that's
figure
what I'm
out-
trying to explain.
Right, but we're inviting you to explain what, like, any actual example, because you just said, like, oh, well, what if the regulation is to stop someone from drilling in a certain area because they just want to make it, because you said just because they want to make it harder there. Like, I don't understand. I would love an example where you think a regulation is stopping an oil company from drilling just because they don't want the oil company to, like, make money at all, and it's not, like, specifically for, like, a fucking reason. I don't know. Like, you seem like it's, I don't know. Yeah.
No,
you tell me.
so in oil specifically, I'm by no means an expert. I don't have specific examples, but what I'm trying to explain is that I think with a lot of these things, oil, I mean, we've heard it over and over again in the past year. You've heard there's an EV mandate. You heard there's not an EV mandate. There's an EV mandate because certain regulations are in place to force companies to push EVs.
No,
And people
mandates
say,
are
well, that's not
not.
an EV mandate, but it kind of is in a certain way, right? So it's sort of a delicate, sort of political, vernacular sort of game that everyone's playing.
Why don't you give me the specific EV mandate you're referring to?
Well, the EV mandate, I think in California is X amount of cars have to be EV sold by 2030 or 2035, whatever it is. And that's not just California specific. That's multiple states. Or maybe
And why
even
is
federal.
that?
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Why do I think what is?
Why do you think that there's...
Why did they set up the mandate?
Well, I think the intentions, right? The road to hell is paved in good intentions. I think the intentions for EV is because, in theory, they're going to be better for the environment.
Right.
But if EVs are not being mass produced at a scale where it's actually beneficial to the environment, we don't know where these things are getting mined from. The battery technology is not where it should be
Okay,
yet.
sorry, incredible. I understand. We don't
Go
have to
ahead.
go into the nitty gritty of that. No, so you made one point. You're saying the goal is to,
Right.
so because it's like the intention is that it's better for the environment, and you're saying, but the counterpoint to that is that if the EVs are not produced at, like, a large enough scale, there's no guarantee that that's going to be good for the environment, right? And I'll take your point on that. That's a fair point. However, how do you think we get companies to produce EVs at larger scales so that it is better for the environment? Oh, sorry, my
a
camera went out
balance
again.
between
God, you take this, I gotta get my food.
technology advancing and consumers wanting the product. And you can't just say all consumers have to buy this product by this year and set an unacceptable date. We've already seen multiple of these getting rolled back. All right, we have the infrastructure bill that was passed that set up how many hundreds of billions of dollars or tens of billions of dollars to build out this EV infrastructure, and what progress has it been made? Pete Buttigieg just said 2 weeks ago that they have built 8 infrastructure stations, but that they're laying the groundwork. Understandable. The groundwork's going to take time. But you cannot put these mandates by X amount of years and then just sort of start slow rolling it. If it doesn't start to succeed, we're going to start pushing it back. And you also cannot do that without taking into account the fact that it's going to have economic implications, and not everyone can afford an EV if they're not mass produced to a scale that makes them affordable. Period.
EVs cost about the same as
No, they
regular
don't.
internal combustion engine. Yes, they do.
Okay. Yeah, the car
Yeah, it's a
market
fact.
is
You can
the
pull it
car
up.
market's ridiculous right now. But does everyone have a house where they can plug in their EV? Does everyone have a garage where they can pull their EV in and plug it in?
Not yet, but
If you live
no,
in an
not
apartment,
yet.
if you live in an apartment, can you
like
park
you
your
said
EV
earlier,
outside
the
and plug it in?
infrastructure is not there yet.
I'm sorry. Hold on. If you're working class, middle class, lower middle class, do you have a place to park your EV and charge it at night? You don't.
Some of them can be plugged right into your home. Yeah, some.
Yeah, right into your home. What if you don't have home? What if you live in an apartment?
So why are you buying? Okay, so then why are you?
What if? But there's
Well,
also
what if?
other
Well,
options.
you're the
It
one
ain't.
saying
It
that
ain't.
we have to all have EVs by
You're
2030.
pretending. You're doing this thing that says it's only EVs. Whenever there's also
No, I'm
hybrids
saying
that you
it's a
don't have to plug
balance.
in.
I'm saying it's a balance.
Okay.
Let the market
No.
decide as well. Don't tell the market where they have
market-
to go.
How is the market going to decide if the other competing product is not there?
Because as EVs scale up and become cheaper and more convenient and available, people will buy them.
How do you think that's?
How do you think how do you believe we'll get there?
Well, I think one of the things that we've done to get there is offer things like EV tax credits, which have helped. But there's, again, this curve between initial people who have A, the money, and B, the property to buy an EV and plug it in at night. And then you have the working class who don't have the luxury of driving into their three-door garage and plugging it in every night. I'm not anti-EV. I'm anti-EV by X amount of date, or else you start to get negative consequences. All right, and another point of this is, why is this all about America? Why is this our political perspective right now? America,
because America
we live here.
right?
Because America
so you think if we all drive EVs and everyone in the world drove ICEs, that America would have clean air?
Hold on. To quote Ronald Reagan, America is the city on the hill. According to Ronald Reagan, the king of Republican economics, we are meant to lead by example. So when conservatives nowadays start saying, why does America have to curb emissions instead of India and China? Why does America have to do this? Why does America have to do this? Ronald Reagan said, we're the beacon city on a hill. We are meant to lead the world in these ways by our example. That's why. It's your own Republican, conservative ideology that America is exceptional. That's why we have to do. That's why we should lead by example for the rest of the world. And to answer your question about chargers, I'm sorry I'm coming in hot, but to answer your question about chargers and not being there for an apartment complex, that's a question. That's an egg or chicken question, right? What comes first, the egg or the chicken or the egg? Just because the infrastructure isn't there now doesn't mean we shouldn't be investing in infrastructure for the future. We can invest. We can say that we need, because we really do need, to be using mostly electric cars by a certain date, while at the same time, because we can walk and chew gum, while at the same time investing in new infrastructure for people to charge those vehicles. They will come as they come. Like this is like conservatives right now will say if every single person right now instantly got an electric vehicle, the power grid could not handle all the charging. That's true. But that's also unrealistic. Like, we're not just saying that like everyone's going to have an electric vehicle overnight. We're going to grow the infrastructure to charge those electric vehicles over the time span of the next decade or the next 20 years, whatever.
Well, and
It's going to happen.
ironically, the infrastructure is also going to grow because of similar mandates. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, there are also like mandates to expand, well, and also subsidies, let's say, and programs to basically encourage the expansion of infrastructure. So we're working on that too. But also, I just want to point out, when they say like by 2035 they want all cars manufactured to be EVs, that doesn't mean everyone it has to own an EV or in fact buy one, right? Like at that point, you still have like if you still own a car, you will own that car as long as you want to own it, or as long as it breaks down. And even once it breaks down, you can still get it fixed. And then if you want to buy a secondhand vehicle because you really, really want to pay for gas, keep paying for gas, you can do that. You can buy a secondhand gas vehicle. Like, you personally, as an individual, will not be forced to own an EV. It is about like manufacturing at that point.
I hear so often.
I would like to also point out that whenever people started, making the power grid, I mean, did they really need to run electric wires to every house? Nobody had electric bulbs or toasters or refrigerators yet. I mean, why did they waste the time to do that? I mean, it seems ridiculous, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And then if they did have all that stuff and they tried hooking up all the houses at the time with the power generators they had, the grid would have crashed. So maybe we shouldn't have done that. It's the same thing.
So a couple of things. Again, I think it comes down to balance. Again, I'm not anti-EV, like 100%. I'm not. I just think that mass adoption is going to happen more organically than more forced.
Okay, well,
Bureaucracy.
Sorry, one sec. No. Sorry, I want to say balance because I wanted to address this earlier. My thing just got out of the oven. You want balance, and I'm sorry, but that's what the mandates are. The mandates aren't okay. All of a sudden, zero gas vehicles allowed. No, the mandates are designed to have a very slow ease. Have you been forced to purchase an EV yet?
No, absolutely not. No.
Correct. Right. Good job. So, and yet there are mandates in place, right? In fact, I don't know a single person who has been forced to purchase an EV. I don't know a single person who has an EV who doesn't want one.
No,
and
I
yet these
understand that.
mandates are in place. So
Yeah.
the mandates
Well, I
are
understand
encouraging, and what we have seen though is we have seen more EVs hit the market and become more and more affordable in recent years. And I have seen more and more people choose to buy EVs, right? That's what I've seen, at least. Not that I know a ton of people with cars in general because I live in a city, but like I have family members who got a hybrid years ago, and now they have like 2 EVs, and they're each EV that they have purchased over the years, and they got them like secondhand, by the way, has gotten even better and better. And like they're fully sold on the whole EV thing now. They have one that can go 273 miles in on one charge, right? That covers their needs. But I know people, like I'm seeing people who like the cheaper the EVs get, the more accessible they are, the more accessible the infrastructure, the more they're choosing to get EVs. No one is being forced to get them. So when you say, okay, but you want balance, this seems like balance to me, personally.
And the argument against that, I understand, is people will say that government shouldn't be. I've heard this phrase: government shouldn't pick winners and losers, right? So when we try to make incentives for people to buy EVs, that's the federal government picking winners and losers according to. I remember this during the Obama administration.
I think incentives are fine, by the way. Not to interrupt.
Incentives are great, and by the way, and just to finish my thought real quick, and about picking winners and losers. If your view is that government should not be, and I'm not saying you, in cred, I'm saying just in general, like if a person's view is that government shouldn't be picking winners and losers, then we should not subsidize corn in a way that we've chosen to subsidize corn in this country, which subsidizes ethanol production.
Aaron, we're talking about like regulations in general, just so you know.
But
we're not
makes combustible engines cheaper.
No, and I agree with you, and I'm for incentives. I understand the reason behind incentives. I get it. but I really want to touch point on something that someone brought up earlier about, pollution or whatever with China and India. I think a little, it's a little bit rich that we sit on our high horse and talk about um, our progress towards less pollution and more green, when all we really do in the end is export our carbon emissions to places like China and India. We are not decreasing the global output of carbon. We are just displacing it from America. And that's why,
Yeah, and we should
again,
have some regulation to keep that from happening. Yeah.
I agree. That is a problem.
But American regulation, we could say tomorrow, you cannot have a gas car, everything has to be electric, et cetera, et cetera. That's not going to fix the global problem.
Correct.
Because if we do that here, it's just going to be exporting it like we've done with our manufacturing to places like China and India, and their pollution will go up. So what's the actual net gain?
I agree. Okay, I agree.
That's
Ingrid
the balance.
No, I agree. No, that's not the balance. That's something else
It is
entirely.
because there's economic repercussions from doing that. That is the balance.
Incredo, can I actually answer your question?
Yes,
and it's
ma'am.
going to be a really fucking cynical answer, just to let you know. Yes, I agree with you. If like globally we're not reducing emissions, that's a problem. Absolutely. Exporting emissions does not fix it on a global scale. However, remember how this whole started, the oil example started, where I was like, there's a regulation that says you can't build, well, now we know it's 500 yards. You can't build a rig within 500 yards of a school. Okay.
Right.
So we understand that 500 yards from a school is better than 10 yards from a school, right?
Right.
Very simple thing. This is really fucking cynical. Yeah. It is better for Americans to export their emissions. If the farther away Americans are from the usage of oil, whatever, petroleum products, all that stuff, the better for Americans. So on like a certain level, yeah, you're right. Globally, if it really is a truly like one-to-one export of emissions, yeah, globally, not great. But for Americans to not be the ones that are right next to the actual emissions and the source of the emissions, fucking amazing. So,
Can I play devil's advocate just a little bit there? I agree with you. Amazing. But again, at what cost? You can't just flip a switch overnight and have
you tell me the cost. No one's switching a switch. No one is switching flicking a switch.
So let's go back
overnight.
Flipping a switch
overnight.
Let me quickly say.
Go ahead.
Let me just quickly say that it's not like, I mean, I understand what you're saying, exporting emissions to, right. But if America is investing in cleaner energy, it's going to start a competition where other countries are going to also want to be investing in this new technology. They already are, truly. I mean, look at China. They already are investing in this. It's going to start, this exporting of emissions only lasts a certain amount of time before other countries start saying, we need to get in on this game. That's something that feels like an important part of this conversation that's not being talked about.
I do want to point out, Andrew, it's not as simple as that, where they're like, oh, it's cool, so we're going to get in on it. No,
totally.
No, it's that oil is a finite resource.
It's economic incentives. I mean, they're going to want to.
Well, first, yes, they're going to be able to export products that work in other countries that are EV based for sure. But also, oil is a finite resource, like it is, and it's only going to get long term. It's only going to get more and more expensive to use it, and for countries that are if they are more heavily dependent on oil, that makes them much more vulnerable to oil prices than a country that is much less dependent on oil, for example, right?
Right.
So on some level,
the economic incentives, that's what I was trying to say.
On different levels, though, it's not just oh, okay, well, if people are buying these products, we should be able to export them. But it's also an incentive just on a much, much more broader level of okay, if you own oil, and the U.S., by the way, produces a shit ton of oil, more under Biden than as we know. So can you imagine if the U.S. continued to produce oil, but not burn it, or burn it at like, only 10% what they do right now, the U.S. would be in such a fucking powerful position, because the U.S. would have a resource that not everyone has access to easily, and the U.S. would be less reliant on it.
So what's the problem with that?
There's no problem, but that's what I'm saying. Like, EVs would allow you to do that. If the U.S. decreases its dependence on oil while continuing to drill for it at a certain point, it makes it much more powerful.
Well, I don't think we have a dependency on oil. I think it's a little bit manufactured. We play the global oil market. If we unlocked our natural resources and leverage them, that would change the entire geopolitical landscape around oil. We are not doing that. I don't know why. I think it's strategic.
It is. Well, it is, because we know that eventually it'll run out. I mean, the whole oil reserve, the whole point of the oil reserve is that we know that one day it will run out. That's the whole point of the oil reserve. I mean, not the whole point, but
that, and also
the main
because
point.
we don't want to be vulnerable to other countries' manipulations of oil in general.
Yeah. I mean, not the whole point.
We follow
one of the
OPEC.
main points of the oil reserve is that we know that it's finite, and we want to be able to have something in the event that shit goes down.
Understand that? Yep.
So I don't. You're saying, like, why don't we open it up and expand?
No,
That's why.
not necessarily. I understand why we haven't we've opened it up consistently over time. You look at a graph; it just goes up. It looks like a fiat currency.
Yeah, we opened it up recently
because
of oil prices, because OPEC wasn't producing pre-C19 levels.
And we don't want to upset OPEC, right? There's strategic reasons there.
We did kind of recently upset them, because the Trump administration made a deal with them to he was just bragging about it recently, actually, in his speech, where he said he made some deal where he had them, like, cut their production in half, and then they didn't, and then after during C19, and then after C19 they continued the it was a 2-year deal that Trump brokered with them, and after that 2-year deal they continued to only do. They didn't return to the pre-C19 production levels, because they were like, wow, oil is so expensive now that we're creating a scarcity, manufacturing a scarcity.
Right.
So Biden opened up our reserves to combat OPEC, which kind of ticked them off, and that's kind of why they responded with, like, for the first time in however many years, trying to say that the dollar wasn't going to be, the whole thing was whatever. But it was a smart move by the Biden administration. It brought down the price of oil. Right now, oil is at some pretty good low numbers. So anyways, I mean, it's whatever. We do open up our strategic reserve. That's the strategic part of it, but it still is a reserve for when shit hits the fan, and this finite resource starts to become a problem, and we're still dependent on it. We don't want to be in that situation. Transitioning to clean energy and electric vehicles is a way to make the oil reserve not a thing that we have to worry about anymore. Don't you know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think there's a lot of probably common ground here. All surmise. I came in here to talk about regulation, all surmised by, and I think that a lot of people probably share this viewpoint. Every dollar spent by the government is less efficient than a dollar spent by the private sector in a lot you scenarios.
I don't know that's.
I don't think every dollar.
I think this election was a referendum on that, and you can disagree.
It was a referendum on that.
That's where I'm going to leave it. And I thank you for having me up.
But
I agree with a lot of your points.
No, wait, hold on. Let people respond to the last thing you said. Don't just drop a minefield and run.
I'm not trying to be a minefield. I just think there's a that's a sentiment. Right.
Yeah. Well, okay, but not in healthcare. So thank you, Nian. That was that's the first thing I was going to bring up. Not in healthcare, for example.
Well, we're not talking about. I'm not necessarily talking about healthcare. I mean, there's going to be spending of dollars.
I mean, you said
about...
Well, you said very general terms. You said every dollar that the government spends is more efficient or better spent
Less efficient.
by
Less
the private
efficient,
sector.
he said. Less efficient.
Much less
Or
efficient.
more. Yeah.
You're saying
sorry,
it was
sorry,
more.
sorry.
It's more efficient in the
Less
private
efficient.
sector.
Government's less efficient.
Well, right. I'm saying more efficient spent in the private sector.
Typically, yes.
Right. And so I'm going to call bullshit on that. And the first thing that came to mind is healthcare. And you said, we're not talking about healthcare. And I said, okay, I'm just saying, you said very generally, every dollar spent by the government is less efficient than a dollar spent in the private sector. That includes.
Well, okay. So my perspective.
Like healthcare.
My perspective on that
I think
is
the military-industrial complex is another example of it. I mean, I
Yeah,
think we
I
could
agree.
look at a lot of examples. Like the military-industrial complex subcontracts to all these private companies that just spend.
I agree.
I
agree. And do you know how much more money? Do you know how much more money the government pays those contractors for certain materials than if you were a private entity purchasing
No,
that
but those
material?
are private entities
are
charging
private.
the government.
No.
Yes.
And it's because
Those contractors are private entities.
Okay, look, I'm
those
a contractor.
contractors are private entities
Okay,
charging
I am
the
a
government those
contractor,
higher
and I
prices.
promise you.
So
the
you're a
actual
private entity, correct?
My
the
uncle was a
procurement
3-star
of
general who now
equipment
works
and
for Lockheed
materials.
Martin. He's laughing to the bank. Trust me.
Okay, two things. The procurement of materials and equipment from the government to these contractors, it is an absolute...
Wait, you mean by the government from these contractors?
Yes.
Okay.
That siphon is inefficient. The government spends way more money procuring materials and equipment from these contractors than if it was just another company purchasing from a company.
Right. So, and
some
also,
of that has to do with the fact
and
they're
I don't. Okay.
fleecing the government.
Right.
some of that
So I
has to do
agree.
with-
No,
the
hold on,
private companies.
Andrew. Please, Andrew, come on.
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
responding.
so
not
sorry.
the private companies, because why is the
No.
government
So
the only one paying the price?
so it sounds like I agree that the problem is private companies fleecing the government. So you must agree we should probably nationalize all of these industries.
No, I'm not going to go there. What I'm saying is
Why
the
not?
government
Because
shouldn't-
it sounds like the inefficiency is in the private sector. The private sector will overcharge every time it
A lot
can.
of the inefficiencies are because of the red tape around the government and how they procure equipment. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that everyone's getting rich on it.
But the reason they're being charged so much is because the private companies are charging them so much. Kind of like with healthcare. Yeah.
No, some of it is on the government side.
You said you make more money when you charge the government for shit than if you're charging a private company, correct?
Usually. from
Okay,
what
so
I
that's because
understand.
you are charging more.
No,
You're
but the
making more
government-
money.
But sometimes it's not on the private sector side. The government literally
But
has
that's-
regulations
but
where you
that's-
have
that
to
is
purchase certain
specifically-
equipment through certain channels and certain people,
And
it's
those
all
channels
a grift.
and those
It's all a
channels and
grift.
people charge more. You just said yourself, you charge the government more than you charge private companies. So that to me, if I'm the government,
No, I don't. No. I'm saying government procurement has to go through certain channels that have been established, and those channels have a lot of premium on them. If you want to buy a keyboard as the government, keyboard,
But a premium for those private companies are placing the premium on the government.
no,
where's that money going?
It's both sides. It's
Where's the-
because
no, where's the
they
money going?
can, and
Where's
it's
the money
half,
going?
Half the reason is
Where's
because
the money going?
it's circling right back into the establishment's pockets.
That's okay.
the system.
No. Be very precise here. The establishment's pockets. Where's the money going?
It's going to the corporations who are full of directors on the board.
Right, so the private
who are
companies.
full
Correct, thank you.
Of
The private companies.
politicians.
Yeah, the private
and
companies.
politicians'
The private
family
companies.
members.
The private
and that's why
companies.
they set up these channels.
The private
and these
companies. Yeah, correct.
these
The private
private-
companies.
these
The
private companies-
the extra money is going to the private companies. Correct. Thank you.
No, okay, well.
That's you literally said it's going to the executives and people. Yeah, their family members. Okay, that either way, it's going to the
because
private
that's how
companies.
it's designed.
It's going to the private companies. Correct. We should nationalize everything. I'm so glad
well,
you
it's
agree.
not going to the private companies.
It's
going right
dude,
back to
you
it's
just
going right
said
back
that
to
it's
their
going to
pockets.
the people who work for the private companies.
It's going
Those
right
are
back to their
private
pockets.
entities. People who work in the private companies are
But
private
you're missing
entities.
the point.
No.
You're
I
missing
think
the
you
point.
are. I think you're missing the
No,
point.
you're
trying to shape. You're trying to act as though the government getting fleeced by private corporations is somehow
By design. No. That's the difference. It's by
Yeah.
design.
Yeah. And do you know
From
how
the
corporations?
government side, through either malicious design or bureaucracy design.
Right.
That's
So
the point I'm making.
so you're saying
It is not
capitalism.
just because they can.
Okay, so you think that the government should own absolutely nothing, ever.
I've never said that.
Okay, well, so the government has to procure something at some point, doesn't it?
Right.
Okay, so how does the government control a military that it doesn't own?
I don't even understand that question.
How does the government control a military that it doesn't own? We're
The
talking
government
about
doesn't
military spending
own
right
the
now.
military.
It doesn't? Who owns the military?
No, I'm asking you. You're saying the government doesn't own the military.
I'm asking you, how does a government control a military it doesn't own?
The government owns the military.
Correct, yeah. But you want to
why are you
privatize
asking
it.
me
You
how
want
they
to
control
No,
a
I'm
military
asking
they
you.
don't
I'm
own?
trying to go very logically. You want to privatize military spending completely. So how do we do that?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Then where do you want
No,
it to
no, no.
stop?
I'm pointing out that if the government wants to buy a keyboard, it is 4 or 5 or 6 times more expensive than if a small business wants to from the
Okay,
same
so
company.
how do you fix that? And you're saying that's why you think that more things should be privatized. So I'm asking you, okay, so fix that issue. When you say you want to privatize things, what do you mean by that?
Well, I guess you'd have to get to the bottom of why it's more expensive for the government. It's not like the company just goes, "Oh, that invoice is from the government, charge a premium."
I mean,
that's not the
that
way
is
it
what
works.
some of them do.
That is
what
that
some
is-
of them
No,
do.
it's absolutely not. It's because the government is forced to procure things through certain channels where there's not enough competition. If I have to buy a keyboard from X,
And so
Y, or
and
Z company,
yes, we're getting
hold
there. So
on,
those
hold
private
on, let me
companies.
speak, please. If I can buy a keyboard from A through Z company, but the government can only buy it from X through Z company, there's obviously going to be an issue where there's not enough competition and the government is sort of aligned into this certain
Dude, I don't
lane.
disagree with that, but when you say you want to privatize that, explain yourself.
I'm not saying I want to privatize it. I'm saying I want to make it more efficient.
I mean, this whole thing started because you were saying that every dollar spent, and you were talking about
Typically,
privatization. So,
yeah.
okay.
And
So
the
I'm
second
asking-
point of that
so,
I never
okay,
got to get
you want to
to.
make it more efficient, but that means more government.
Okay. No. So another thing I'd like to get to.
Okay, how do you make it more efficient?
Well, first of all, I'd say make it to where government employees don't feel like tenured professors.
What does that mean? Be specific.
That means the government can't fire anyone.
That's not true.
Okay.
So how? Okay.
Have
and
you
how,
looked at the attrition rate? Have you looked at the attrition rate of government employees and how many of them are actually getting terminated if they're unneeded or doing a bad job versus retirement? And then you apply that to the private sector, you're going to see a massive difference. A lot of Americans right now feel like the government and the federal government employees are tenured professors. That's one of the issues that made this election happen the way it just did.
Okay.
I promise
so
you.
let's get back
You
to
can
the
disagree
actual
with
question.
it,
I asked
but
you. I
that's
don't
the
care, dude.
sentiment.
I don't care. Come on. I asked you. You said you want to cut. You said when the government buys things from a private entity, it pays way too much. I agree. You said that you want to make that more efficient.
Yeah.
How do you make it more efficient?
If you made it to where the government and the people in charge of the government didn't make
The people
money,
in charge of the government are the government.
Okay, if people in the government didn't make money off of government spending,
Right.
that would help.
Oh, I agree. So you're anti-corruption, right?
I think most people would agree with
Right.
that.
No, I agree. So, do you know how we regulate corruption? I guess I'm giving up the answer there. What do you think is the answer to corruption?
Regulation.
Right. So
Right.
again, maybe it sounds like you actually want more.
So I
regulations.
guess if we have regulation now, then where is it failing?
It seems like we need more of them. We need more regulations. We need stricter regulations on government employees, and we need enforcement of regulations. We need more people who are in
Enforcement
charge.
might be the way to go.
Right.
Yeah. I don't
The
think
issue
blanket
is
regulations might be the way to go, but enforcement would
itself,
help.
I just want to say, enforcement itself costs money up front, right? Just like the IRS. Like,
Sure. The IRS, yep.
so like the IRS, every dollar you spend, you get, I think, what is it, 70? I know there's a 7 in there. You get, let's say it's just 7, right? Let's say it's the most thing. Every dollar you spend on the IRS, every dollar this government spends on the IRS, it gets 7 back, right? Republicans keep voting to cut funding for the IRS and other agencies, other regulatory agencies. They want to they want to weaken. If they can't actually like cut down the regulations, what they want to do is weaken the agencies that actually enforce the regulations. Correct?
So can I ask you, if every dollar you put into the IRS, you get 7 back, that seems great on the surface. But if you're getting 7 back, that 7 back is coming from the general economy. And when you look at macroeconomics,
no, it's coming, dude. No, 7 is coming from people who are like corporations mainly, who are skipping out on their taxes. Do you not think that? Do you think people should be able to break the law and not be regulated?
If you take money from them, right?
We're not taking money from them. They owe that money.
They owe that
money.
money.
The IRS is seeking out taxes that are owed. We're not taking it from them.
We can get into a tax argument all night, but what I'm saying is,
I mean, it's very simple. It's not an argument.
Actually,
it's
no.
Not an argument.
Great
it's
point. So you want to? So those extra $6, you're upset because we're taking that money out of the economy. Okay. So what about the money?
Not necessarily.
No,
depends.
Stop. What about the money? All that extra bloat that you're trying to cut from the government. You're saying that the government spends too much on products that it buys from the private sector. I agree. And so you're saying we got to make it cheaper. So you want what? You want the government to put less money into the general economy? Like that logic, if you're going to apply that logic of like, okay, well, if the government's going to enforce its laws and make sure people pay the taxes when they're supposed to, but you also want to make sure that the government is paying corporations and private entities a lot less because it's overspending, then you also want to take that money out of the economy, according to you. So that's a problem too. So you must fucking love it.
No, but there's a difference because the government is buying from the military-industrial complex,
which are big corporations,
which is full of their friends and family on the board. So that money that drains into there circles back somehow.
Okay, but
IRS money, $1 to $7, comes out of everyone's pocket throughout the rest of the economy.
No, that's not
just the elite class.
No, that's not how that works.
Has friends and family on the
when
board
they get
of
the
the
every dollar gets them $7. That's not like, oh, you suddenly are getting charged 7 more cents from your paycheck. That's not what that means.
No, I'm not saying that, but
they're getting it from giant corporations. They're getting it from corporations, often corporations that are part of the military-industrial complex. So in that case, I guess you're okay with it.
It would depend.
So so you want them to selectively apply the laws to corporations that you don't like personally.
Nope. If the IRS can be more efficient, then power to them.
Okay. What do you fucking mean?
The
IRS is the most efficient. The IRS is famously like the most efficient agency in the fucking government.
Okay, so what's the problem?
Your evidence, your like claim that we spend $1 and get 7 back is a claim of efficiency. That's an incredibly
that's not mine.
efficient.
That sounds great.
Okay, but you're against it because you said that's taking money out of the economy.
Okay, can I give an example, right? Can I give an example?
Please.
Let's say tomorrow you could fund the IRS to a level, okay? Mm-hmm. So from your perspective, every $1, you get 7 back. So let's dump a bunch of funding into the IRS, make it a lot, bigger. They're going to go after the money. They're going to get it. That's a ROI. That's a return on investment for the American people, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. The same argument can be applied where when you look at something like the Doge or whatever the fuck they're calling it, where they're going to go eliminate a bunch of spending and everyone thinks, okay, eliminate spending. That sounds great. They're eliminating GDP, jobs, money that's cycling through the economy. That same argument can be applied to your argument.
Doge is
making
a different set of cuts. Doge is making a different type of cut, though. Doge is cutting regulators. It is. Doge is actually cutting regulators. And it's cutting people like the IRS. It's cutting the FBI. It's cutting the parts of the government that like actually ensure that the dollars are efficient in the government, and it's
but
cutting
the government's
jobs.
not efficient.
But the IRS is the most, like, you understand that the less you fund
Well,
the
the
government,
IRS
the
might
more.
be, but the government's not efficient. Everyone knows it.
Stop. The government becomes less efficient the less you enable people to actually enforce what they're supposed to do. Like the
No,
more
the
you
government
yes,
becomes
that's
less
the
efficient the
IRS.
bigger
The
it
more money you
becomes.
give the IRS, the more efficient it becomes. Like we literally just gave you yes.
The government becomes less
the
efficient
IRS,
the bigger it becomes.
The more money you
That's
give
why
the
a socialist
IRS, and the
country has
bigger you
never
make the
succeeded.
IRS. Okay, I'm stating actual facts. You are stating fucking propaganda.
I just stated a fact. A socialist country has never succeeded.
No, that's not true.
Jesus.
And
And
it's
neither
an
has a capitalist
oversimplification.
country. Look at this fucking country. This country is in fucking
This country's
trouble.
been doing pretty good. It's the superpower of the world still.
Has it?
No,
okay,
hold
has
on.
it been doing
But
pretty good? And yet you've
there's
been
an
in here complaining about it.
oversimplification
Jesus
happening
Christ.
here, where there's an oversimplification happening here, where it's a capitalist country or a socialist country. This
Sure, I
country
agree.
This country
You just
did the
oversimplified
best.
it, dude.
No, you should have a balance.
Hold on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This country
But my entire
did the
point.
best when it was capitalist and a healthy, bountiful amount of socialism. We're talking about the 1950s to the 1970s, when the top marginal tax rate for the top earners in this country in the 1950s was 90%. By the 1970s, it went down to like 80-something percent. We're talking above a certain income threshold, that marginal tax rate was like 90%. That built our middle class. According to most conservatives now, that is socialism. But that coupled with our capitalists, I mean, come on, talk about the 1950s and 60s. We were a capitalism boom. We were building new products. We were canning vegetables.
We don't do that
We
anymore.
were creating cakes in boxes that all
Yep,
you need to do
and we
is
don't
add
do that
oil.
anymore.
Yes, we do. We still have cakes in boxes.
No, we
Come on.
export it to China and India so
No,
that we can say
okay.
we're green and they're
All
polluting.
right. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. My
That's
point
exactly
is
what we do.
My point is this country was strongest when it was a hybrid of capitalism and socialism. You said that there are no socialist
Agreed.
countries. You said that there are no socialist countries that are successful. The
Can you
hybrid
name one?
model still exists in Scandinavia, and those countries are more socialist than we were in the 1950s, and they are doing incredibly well with free healthcare, free schools, free college. But they are also a very capitalist society. They're capitalism and socialism, the government and free market working together
Right, so
to
they're not a
balance each other
socialist
out.
country.
They are incredible. There doesn't exist that's what I'm saying is there doesn't exist a strictly socialist country,
Right,
just like
exactly,
there doesn't
because
exist
they've
a
all
strictly
failed.
free
No,
market
okay,
That's
dude,
the only
capitalism
thing I
country.
said.
Okay, you have just derailed
the only
thing.
thing I said.
Okay, I have given you that aside. This is fucking classic MAGA bullshit. That when
I'm
we
not-
actually
okay.
when we actually
Why are you
present
assuming I'm MAGA?
the numbers, fine, you're not.
Why are you assuming
Because
I'm MAGA?
when we actually present the numbers, you're like shilling for Doge. So
No, I literally said the bullshit they're trying to do is going to have a macro effect on the economy because if you cut jobs, people aren't going to be earning money, and the money supply and the velocity of M1 in the economy is going to decrease, and that is
You're
going to cause a
comparing-
macro effect.
But you're comparing Doge. You're comparing.
No.
Sure, I agree with that. I agree. They
Yes,
should not be
okay.
cutting those things. But we're talking in the context of making the government more efficient, right? And you
Sure.
think that Doge is going to make the government more efficient. That's what you're claiming.
No.
Okay, but you keep
No.
claiming that the smaller you make government, the more efficient it is.
I'm saying the bigger an entity becomes, the less efficient it typically
Okay, so according to you,
becomes.
Doge will make the government more efficient.
Potentially.
Okay,
But
so yes.
at what cost?
So why are you saying no? Okay. All right. So, and I gave you a very precise.
Is the cost worth
and
it,
I
is
just
my
gave
point.
you an exact, like a perfect example, right?
Right.
Of an actual, like the IRS, we know that the bigger it gets, the more efficient it becomes. Can you give me, and here's the thing, I don't doubt, like, I'm not saying that, like, outright, yeah, things, as the more you fund them, the more efficient they get. Yeah, trust me, I fucking know. Bureaucracy in this country.
Right. So
For
where's
sure.
the ceiling for the IRS?
What do you
If
mean
in
the
your
ceiling?
mind,
You're
every
the one who's
dollar you
trying
get to the
say there should
IRS,
be
you get 7 back. At some point, every dollar you give to the IRS isn't going to give 7 back.
Sure. And so maybe that's
It's
the
going to
ceiling
give
right
6
there.
back,
Right. So
and
that's
then 5 back,
Sure.
and then 3 back, and then -1 back.
Okay, stop right there. So when it stops making you money, when it stops being efficient, and you're putting more money in than it's getting out, that's when you stop. That's where the ceiling is. Good fucking
Right, so
job.
the bigger it got, the less efficient it became.
But it was still
correct?
more efficient. No. It got no.
Yes, it did.
No, stop. No, it didn't. It's not that the less
That's
efficient.
your own argument.
Can you fucking listen to me, dude?
I will listen.
The more money you put in, the more efficient it was, but at a slower rate. It just had diminishing returns on its increase in efficiency. Because you're still
But you
making money
can't just inflate it.
until you get. What do you fucking mean? It's very simple. The first, let's say it's 100. Let's say it's like $100, right? You put in $100, you get for the first $100, you get $700 out, right? Let's say that our economy is like $1,000 or whatever. You know, we're talking tiny numbers. For the first $100 you invest into the IRS, it gets $700 out. For the for the second $100, so from $101 to $200, you get $600, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the next 100, you get $500, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, diminishing, but it's still more efficient the more money you get until for every dollar you put in, you get $1 out. At that point, the additional efficiency is at an equilibrium, and it's not worth putting in the dollar to get the dollar out. Like, I mean, at that point, it doesn't even fucking matter.
Exactly.
Right?
And you just said it. Equilibrium.
Right,
so
but
you're
after you have already put $700 in, right? Okay. So that's the
but
ceiling.
You're saying
that's what
the
I'm
IRS.
saying. That's what the ceiling is. Once
you're
you're funding it to the
IRS.
tune of $700 and you're
But
getting everything out that you can. Yeah.
But you are still agreeing and admitting with your example that there's an equilibrium. And if you get too big, it needs rebalanced. Because if you go over the equilibrium, you are inefficient.
Sure,
Thank
exactly.
You. That's all I meant.
Right now, okay, but like I said earlier, I'm not saying that like in no situation is like getting bigger going to become less efficient. But like when you say every time the government is bigger, it is more inefficient. I'm saying, well, the IRS is a perfect example of how that is not true.
Okay. The IRS is a small portion of the government.
Right, but it's not the only portion of the government. You understand that, right?
Right, but
and
if you look at
you gotta be clear.
if you look at the government,
you also have to understand. You also have to understand that when we talk about like efficiency, right? The IRS is one of the few branches that explicitly brings in money for the government, right? It's one of the few branches
important.
That
Agreed.
Right. But there's a lot of other branches of the government that like don't, right? You're going to have to spend money on the military-industrial complex that doesn't necessarily bring in the same.
Perhaps they're out of equilibrium.
No.
Why not?
Because the government is not a fucking business, and the government is not there to always turn a profit.
You're right. The government's not a business,
it's
but
not there to turn a
it can
profit.
Still get out of equilibrium to the point where
how
it's
about
inefficient.
this? How would you suggest that the government make money off of the fucking military, or let's say equilibrium on the military? How would you suggest that every dollar that the government spends on military, it gets $1 back?
I'm glad you asked.
Great.
I would say, do not look at the military as a profit machine.
That's what I just said, dude. That's literally what I was just fucking saying.
So it doesn't need to be as big as it is.
Thank you. So as I just said, which you were
So
fucking arguing with
down.
me on, you were just challenging me on.
Equilibrium.
Okay, so equilibrium means every dollar you put in, you get $1 out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you agree that the military...
You think our defense spending is doing that?
When I'm asking you, how do you think that the defense spending will
No,
bring
that was my point earlier. When I said procurement of equipment and materials, you think our defense spending is $1 in, $1 out?
Dude, I'm asking you how... I don't think defense spending will ever be $1 in, $1 out. Because
and why not?
It's spending. Because it's not a profit-driven machine. You said so your fucking self. You understand the concept. It's because you're not selling off. Like, what do you fucking mean? How about that's why I'm asking you. You tell me. How is it an equilibrium where every dollar you put into the military, you get an equal amount out? You get $1 out.
I think that'd be very, very hard to pinpoint the exact equilibrium, but I think that
We're
could
using
start.
Imaginary numbers. So tell me how.
Sure, I think you could start by not using the military-industrial complex, which I'm going to circle back to, is full of friends and families of the political establishment
Stop. No.
selling weapons
Very simple. We're talking.
and making money.
You were talking about moving
I'm talking
it
about
from
the grift of politics.
I'm asking you, dude, okay, but you don't understand. You want the military-industrial complex to bring in money for the government, apparently.
No.
You want it to pay for itself. Well, that's why I'm asking. Okay, so you agree that it will never get to a point where $1 in equals $1 out.
No, I think
Like
you
the
can get to a
IRS,
point-
$1 in, you get $7 out of it.
Right, but the
And
IRS
you want
has...
right, exactly. Thank you. We keep fucking circling back to this thing, and then you keep
but
not understanding
no,
it after you understand
ignoring,
it.
You're
No, my
completely
point is
ignoring
that the military, and in fact, most of the government is not there to bring in money. That was
Right,
the thing
I
I said.
agree.
Right. Okay.
I agree,
And
but our
you said,
military currently is.
no, you're misunderstanding. You're trying to say, oh, it's there to bring in money for the military, for the families. No, that's taking money out of the government. You understand that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is
great job.
exactly
Okay,
why they want
so-
to spend more. It's taking money out of the government
I'm
and
not,
putting it
bro,
into the
I'm not
system
even
that they all
arguing.
benefit
I'm
from.
not even arguing that we should spend more money in the fucking military, dude. Do you want to listen? You understand? So you understand that
I think I've
the
been
military,
listening a lot, honestly. I
but
don't
you
know
keep
what.
getting to this fucking point where you keep contradicting the point that you and I both agree on. That the military is not there to make money for the government, correct? Correct? Is the military
for the
there to make
government,
money, to bring in...
Not necessarily. Well, I think right now it kind of is, yeah.
You yourself are saying that the government spends too much on the military. So clearly the military is not bringing in money
Not
to
just
the
military.
government.
Not just military, but yes.
We're fucking focusing on the military, dude. It's like...
Sure.
You are sitting
okay,
here
can I put it
arguing
this way? Can I put
that
it
the
this way?
government spends way too much on the military because it's
Can I-
like they're
can I-
charged
can
too
I
much.
just
No,
put
no,
it
no,
this
no. Listen. Simple
I
fucking
will listen.
concept, okay?
I've been listening all night. Go ahead.
So why are you also saying that the military currently brings in money for the government when you yourself are saying that it's costing the government too much?
Okay, I'll put it as this. And if anyone can disagree in the chat, let me know. Do you think that there is a incentive for the government to spend in the military? Yes or no? And why is that?
Yeah.
Is it just to be the superpower of the world?
Well,
or is
that
it
is one
something
part of
else?
it, actually, yeah. Actually, yes. I think that
Okay.
being a superpower is very much a big fucking deal
Sure.
to the United States government.
Yeah. And again, I don't know how we got on the military. That's one part of it. You brought up the IRS. We talked about equilibrium. If it was as easy as you put $1 in, you get X dollars back, this would be a simple solution, and Congress would
That's my
pass
fucking
it.
point, dude. That's my fucking point.
But
you
your-
keep, I'm
but your
saying,
point
I'm pointing
doesn't
out, you
take
are
into
contradicting
account
yourself.
that you've hit a ceiling.
We cannot have a basic conversation because you keep contradicting yourself on the most basic fucking premise. You are somehow simultaneously saying that the military costs the government too much money, which, by the way, I fucking agree. But
I
you're
didn't say
also
that one thing.
saying, you didn't say that? Oh, so now you're going back on that. You don't think that the military
No, I
costs
said the
government?
government in general tends to be less efficient, not the military. Military is definitely part of it.
Does the government spend too much on the military or not? Yes or no? You keep going
It
back on what
depends
you keep saying.
It depends on what our strategic goals are. If we became less of a
All right, okay.
foreign...
You're just gonna pretend like we haven't been having this fucking conversation.
Okay,
this
let's put it
entire
this
fucking
way. If we became more
It's pointless.
nationalist,
If-
we could slash our budget on the military easily.
time. What do you mean by
Agree or
nationalist?
disagree?
What do you mean by nationalist?
We don't have 130 bases in 98% of the countries that exist in the world. We're not getting
Okay,
involved in
so,
every
all right,
single
okay,
foreign
okay.
conflict that exists.
Okay.
Because
so I
we're
don't,
the
yeah, I
moral
don't disagree with that.
superiority.
Sure. Okay, I don't disagree with that. But so you understand that this entire fucking time we've been having a discussion about whether or not the military is supposed to bring in money for the fucking government.
Oh, it should not, but it does.
It doesn't. It
I'm
doesn't.
done. I'm done.
okay.
You keep
Hold on.
going back and forth between this whole.
I think we're mistaking the government
No.
with the people in charge of the government.
And we have been specifying repeatedly private entities enriching themselves off of the fucking military spending. Yes, we have been specifying that. And like the difference between that and the government spending stuff. And you have not listened to us. We have repeatedly said that there's a fucking difference between the two. You have refused to listen until now. I am so fucking done, dude. Sorry,
you're not understanding that some of that
I'm understanding, Incred I am done. You have not been listening. This entire time, I have been trying to get you to hear what I was saying, and you're so unwilling to fucking listen. We have not been able to pass a very simple point. I'm done wasting my time if you're not going to listen. And understand that we agree, dude. Like, the craziest fucking thing is that you and I agree on this bit, but you're so unable, you're so incapable of listening, you can't even hear the very simple fucking point I'm trying to establish. So done. It's exhausting talking to people who just won't fucking listen. Hi, Mr. Goodbar.
Hi, good evening. I didn't mean to interject here. I know you guys are in film, and I was on here earlier today, and I just wanted to say that Sissy Spacek is like my second cousin. And I was telling Andrew about that a little bit in the chat. So a little bit of show and tell with that, if you would like.
Sissy Spacek, nice.
Yeah, she was big in the 80s.
Yeah,
Carrie. I mean, Carrie is a horror icon. I mean, come on. She's incredible.
No.
She's amazing.
No. Yeah, so she's related to me on my uncle's side, who was married to my aunt on the Texas side, but there's also some very Southern history there. So it was by marriage, but when I was in college, she was filming Crimes of the Heart in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I knew we were kind of quasi-related, and so I was in college at the time, and so I called my mom to call my Uncle Jackie to see if it was okay to go up and say hi, and it was, and she gave me a...
I'm sorry to cut you off. Incred stop lying. No, Incred stop lying. Because you know that I never said that. And you're just feeling defensive because the whole chat saw that you were fucking humiliating yourself. Stop sitting in the chat and pretending like I argued something I fucking didn't do. Because you're embarrassed. It's not what I said. I literally said there is a ceiling. And I described the ceiling to you. I said the ceiling is when it hits the equilibrium. I'm the one who said that word, remember? I said that there's and you got excited about the word equilibrium. And then you started using it a whole bunch. I was the person who brought up reaching equilibrium. So that's where I said that's where the ceiling is. Once it stops becoming efficient, the more you add. Very simple concept. But sure, go ahead and lie because you're feeling insecure because I fucking schooled you. Sorry, keep going, Mr. Goodbar.
Yeah, all good. So I met her at Crimes of the Heart. She's very, very short, but I also met her again because she has a farm in Virginia, and she's got a farm. If you know what I'm talking about, she's partaking, quite a bit there in a VA. So yeah, she's not overly friendly because I'm family by association, but she's very, very nice. And she is so talented. Mm-hmm. You guys just don't know.
Why would we know?
Well, I mean, really, it's she's not Meryl Streep or something, but she is so talented with what she does. It's amazing because I also saw her when she was finishing up In the Bedroom, which came out about 24 years ago. It was a Miramax film. It was like her 6th Oscar nomination. But let me tell you, it's just like my claim to fame. So I just wanted to interject that. You guys were talking about politics, so I didn't want to derail the conversation. But yeah, I always like to bring that in because I feel like she's kind of underrated. But like I said, she's also a little standoffish and she knows who she is. So as she should be.
Which we love.
Yep.
Yeah. She's earned the right to be in Virginia and grow what she's growing and enjoy what she's growing. And
dude,
she's fantastic.
She has a huge farm there.
Cool.
Yeah, she really does. So anyway, yeah, and she's been married to the same guy for like 45 or 50 years or something. But yeah, with Carrie, I didn't know her. I didn't know we were related then.
That was, but that was like 78 or something, right? It was a long time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. She's about 20 years older than I am. I'm 54. I think she's like pushing 77. But yeah, she's very artistic. And what was so weird was when I was a kid, when I saw Carrie, it scared the crap out of me. I mean, because I was like 8 or 9. But then when I saw Coal Miner's Daughter, I'm like, well, I can't be scared of Loretta Lynn now.
Yeah.
And then like
Carrie, Carrie's a very scary movie. It's very frightening. It's good.
God,
it's a great movie. It's classic.
The split screens and the slow motion when she's coming out of the, it's like, it's crazy. It's like a horror classic. And it's like I said, I didn't even know her then. It's what I say, but but it scared the crap out of me because I saw it in the previews of the theaters. Also, like the same time, like the movie called Ruby was coming out, which was with Piper Laurie. I think they were the same actresses in both movies, I believe. But anyway, Anyway, I'm rambling.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for sharing. Abe,
it was a nice cool down ramble.
Yeah, it was good, and it's great to meet you.
That's why I was kind of coming on board. I'm kind of chill. It's always something to chime in about. And as I get older, I like to reflect on a lot of people who are in film, because film is not dead. And I'll tell you, I'm such look, I am such a white male Republican, but I vote for Harris. With my views, I'm GAY, but still, it's, you get older, like film's not dead. It's not. It's fantastic.
There's some great films coming out now. Fantastic films. They're just going, that mid-budget range is kind of disappearing onto streaming services, but they're still making great films. The industry is changing a little bit. It's evolving and adapting, but they're still making great films. They're just not going to theaters the way they used to. They're going to Netflix or Apple TV. I think Apple
the
TV
audience is changing, along with it. But there's so much good that goes direct to streaming now. It's crazy. I have seen some of the best thought-provoking films on Shudder.
Shudder,
yeah. I mean, but you almost feel like there's such an embarrassment of riches right now, because I grew up also in the 70s when you had what was playing at the Cineplex.
And that's it.
Yeah, and that was it. And I remember being a kid and seeing Jaws up in the screen for weeks as a kid. But now there's so much out there. But it's film is art, and it's so it's
Severance.
Yes, I agree. I'm not very artistic, but no, I think that film speaks volumes.
Here's what I'll say, and I've said this to I've said this to very select few actors, because I don't think that every actor could be a director. But when an actor is as good as Sissy Spacek is, I really do think that she could direct a film, because she's so strong the art of directing. When you have a good cinematographer, the art of directing really boils down to directing an actor for their performance. I really think Sissy could do a fantastic job if she was called to direct a film.
But let me just tell you,
seeing
her on the one set that I did, because I saw her in Crimes of the Heart, because it was in Wilmington. Jessica Lange and Diane Keaton were completely off limits. But it's a big process. You don't know what. I mean, I was 18 or 19, or no, I was 86. Oh God, I was 16 or 17. But it's such a big process for them, and I didn't even appreciate it till you saw it. I mean,
there are hundreds of people on set making.
Yes, and it's so crazy.
And then hundreds more in pre-production and hundreds more in post-production. I mean, there are thousands of people who work on any decent budget film that make that film happen.
That is what got to me at a young age, was that there's so much into it, but it gives so much value if you appreciate it. And you know what I saw on that set, because that house, what South, it was in Southport, I believe. But anyway, yeah. She's my second cousin, but yeah, when I saw her on set, and she's also extremely short. She's like 5'4". But
so often that is the truth,
she's got
right?
such a presence.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so it's my silly claim to fame, but yeah, she's an Oscar-winning actress. I didn't know the scope of what she did, and she's been very nice to me over the years whenever I reached out for something kind of silly.
Well, hey, listen, Mr. Goodbar, when she decides to direct something, you tell her she should hire the composer from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1 and 2. Got a sequel. And I'll score her movie for a discounted rate. I'll write the music. It'll be great.
Yeah, I feel like that stage of acting is like the golden age now. Looking back on, like, you know, her Jessica Lange and Meryl Streep, and you know Diane.
I mean, even if we're just sticking in horror, people like Barbara Crampton, they're horror royalty.
Oh, Karen Black.
I mean, yeah. Yep.
And I think I was comparing the host Brianna to Jane Fonda earlier.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah,
with her passion. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for. I mean, I love I love talking film anytime. I mean, anytime. So.
Oh yeah. Thanks for bringing me up. I appreciate it. You guys have fun, and I'm a big film buff. So yeah, love to chat anytime.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoy Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It's truly the pinnacle of art in cinema.
It's right up there with Cocaine Bear. I agree.
Yeah,
Careful with the names of those things.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even think about the BLOOD word. Is that one of the banned words?
I'm not
Banana
sure.
words.
I think some people treat it like one, but the C word was not.
Definitely one. Listen, I wish that we had Sea Bear. I wish that Winnie the Pooh horror movies had Sea Bear budget. That's for sure. Because we were the first movie they made, that Winnie the Pooh B&H movie, for $30,000, and I remember it was in theaters the same time as Sea Bear, and Sea Bear had, I think, like, I don't know, $30 million or something like that. And it's just like. I remember people, like, on Twitter and stuff comparing the two movies, you know, as in like, oh wow, it's two bears, ha ha ha, and it's like not even, you know, one was made for pennies and one was made for like a decent budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for sure.
That's funny. I never saw
Seabiscuit. I heard it was fun. I mean, I know some of the people who worked on it. I'll watch it one day for sure.
They had to buy a whole bear. Oh. It's about a horse on potatoes.
Hello, Plow. Flow? What is this? Floudney?
What's up?
Yeah, sort of, I guess.
Are you on an airplane or something? Because the background noise is crazy.
Oh, is it? I'm in my car.
Are you driving?
It's free. But if it's too terrible.
Sorry, dude. We can't have you driving. It's against the terms of service, dude.
Yeah, that's a big no. Y'all people need to stop that.
Guys, please stop requesting up if you're driving. That can get us
it's
in
not.
trouble.
But it's nothing personal. I mean, we're not. I mean, we want to hear from you. Just not while you're driving. That's it.
What happened with the judgment? They upheld the ban.
I'm glad to be back. I'm sorry my signal's so bad. I'm trying to...
Oh, my God. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Hi, Angela. That's so kind. Thank you.
Dope.
So we can't risk it. The algo might even just see that you're like moving in a car and decide that you're driving, basically.
I'm definitely not moving at all. So
Yeah, if we
I'm
can hear
sorry.
the
I was
sound and
joking
tell
at
what's
first,
going
but
on, then so can the app.
Yeah.
oh no, I'm definitely not moving anywhere. But I mean, I don't want to jeopardize the stream or anything like that. I really like coming on. I didn't know we couldn't drive, but now I know, so I'm definitely not gonna do that.
I mean, I've heard people
Also,
who
read
are.
the terms and agreements before you agree to things, and also you should go over the community guidelines.
Dang, I might have just signed my life away or something.
You could
Look,
have. You never know.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I've heard people in the past.
Thank you, Kiangela. Thank you.
Kiangela's the best. This is fantastic. What a wonderful,
so
fantastic person. This is amazing. I've heard people in the past say, "I'm in an Uber," and
Right.
whatever.
Well, play it safe, I guess. What is a galaxy?
Also,
what does that do?
I will say it's a gift. It's one of the gifts.
Oh.
So
It's like
I've shown
$17. That's big. That's big. Thank you,
when
Kiangela.
you see, thank you. Oh my gosh, there you go. You just got your first galaxy, Nando.
Galaxy for Nando.
I got a galaxy. Wow, thank you so much. That's never happened to me before. Oh my god, thank you. I mean, I don't know how to even cash that out or whatever, but that's awesome.
Thank you.
You know what you can do? You don't have to necessarily cash it out if you wish. Most of the gifts that I get, I re-gift to other people. So
that's nice, man. Oh yeah.
Wait,
what were you
sorry.
saying? I'm
One
sorry.
was saying, oh, up there. No, yes. Also, Steam. I've had Steam on camera, and it seemed very clear that it thought it was smoke, and will like get you in trouble and stuff.
You can't even smoke on. Wow. Okay.
Nice, congratulations, Kiangela. Congrats on the raise. That's amazing.
Oh my god, she's balling because she just became a doctor. Like that's amazing.
She is a doctor. She's not becoming one.
Oh! I'm sorry. I read that wrong. I guess. My bad. Congratulations, though. That's awesome for the race.
Steam, like when I was baking recently.
And they thought you were smoking.
It seemed like it. Yeah, it seemed like it could see the billowing like steam at one point. Actually, no, it might have been smoke itself, but like not from a thing. It was like from my oven, basically.
Yeah. I like to cook too. What's your favorite food to cook?
I guess tortilla. I don't do it often. I don't know that it's my favorite one. It's not my
tortillas from scratch, bro.
Tortilla de patatas.
Patatas. What is that?
Ooh.
It's a Spanish tortilla, so it's not like a Mexican tortilla. It's like thick. Patatas is potatoes.
That sounds yummy. Okay, that's nice.
Caramel apple pie. Yeah, I love it.
That's baking. That's not cooking. That's baking.
I had a whole thing with a pie recently. It was not a good day.
I made a pie from scratch with one ingredient recently, and that one ingredient was a Sara Lee frozen pie.
I just.
Well, so then you can't say it was from scratch.
No, it was one ingredient. It was a whole food. It was a frozen pie.
But you said from scratch. You can't say from
no,
scratch.
No, I know, but that's part of the joke. I made it from one ingredient.
A whole pie from one ingredient. Yeah.
The one ingredient was a whole pie that was frozen.
I just checked out Andrew's profile.
I missed the pie. It was like, dude, 8 hours.
Yeah, man, I seen you around. I don't know. I seen the beehive violin. That was wild. I never seen that.
Wait, you've seen that before? You've seen the beehive violin like around?
No, I just checked out your profile and I saw that. I was like, what is this? How? Bees living there?
I was earlier wilting, but then I stopped for a while. I took a nap. I ate, and then I came back on.
That's life.
Well,
so
it was
bees did
like I had to make 2 pies. And I made the crust the night before, which was an hour and a half, and then one of the pies the next day took 6 hours. So it was 7.5 hours for one pie, and then it was a totally different type of pie afterwards. It was a fucking thing.
Brenna, you got a blazer compliment that I agree with.
Thank you, Angela.
It's fire.
Yeah. The red velvet. Love
Nando, the beehive was the bees lived in it when it was part of the hive. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can watch the whole like behind the scenes of me going and getting the violin, and we took the basically what happened is when I was contracted to write the Winnie the Pooh horror movie, I remembered a friend of mine who's an experimental instrument maker. It's called a luthier, someone who makes string instruments called a luthier. So he's an experimental luthier, specifically more geared towards violins. And I remembered a New Yorker article that he was interviewed for, where he said in the article, like they were asking him about his work, and one of the things he said was like, I just put a violin inside of a beehive to see if what would happen. And so I messaged him. I had already hired him once before, but I had messaged him about the beehive, and I said, hey, whatever happened to that violin that you put inside of a beehive? And he said, oh shit, I forgot about it. He had forgotten that he had put a violin inside of a beehive, and it had been in there for almost 2 years. So I said, can I play it on the soundtrack to this, fun horror movie? And he said, yes. And I said, don't touch it. I want to come and we'll film it for behind the scenes of the Blu-ray and stuff. And so we took the violin out of the beehive, and they had built their whole because a beehive is 10 rows. So when you make an artificial beehive for honey cultivation or whatever, anything, you put a box, and then there's 10 rows of beehive frames. They're rectangular wooden frames that the beehives then put and create the comb within the frame. So he put that violin inside of one of the 10 frames. So all we did is we pulled that one frame out and put an empty frame back in so that they could create the beehive again. And so bees were living in there in the way that it was part of one of 10 rows of comb. But we just pulled that comb out and then, waited, because once you take one of those frames away from the whole box, they'll eventually fly back to the box. So that's what happened is they eventually flew back to the box. And then we took the violin home. We put it back together, put the neck on it and stuff. The only problem with the beehive violin for me was taking it back to my recording studio, because not all of the comb was honeycomb. Some of the comb was honeycomb, but some of the comb was larva comb. So bees were hatching in my recording studio. For the first week of me using the violin, I had to take the violin outside and let the bees fly away. But yeah, no, there weren't bees living in it once I took it away from the actual hive.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Man, that is. Man, the world is just filled with anything and everything. It's
crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
And by the way, that person's name he's mostly on Instagram. He's on TikTok, but he has the biggest following on Instagram, so he uses that the most. It's Violin Torture. That's his username. And his whole game is to disrupt the classical violin community by kind of I don't know if it's I can't think of the word for it, but it's a form of art. He basically destroys violins because it enrages the violin community.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know. Was there a specific topic for right now? I was seeing the whole fight thing kind of go down, more and I was just I felt like I was way out of my league. I was like, I don't even want to try and join right now. I don't know where I could have jumped in, but that was very interesting. Also, Brenna, oh my God, you were tearing that guy's head off. I was like, yo, it was pretty fire. I don't know.
Short.
It's all pretty good though. I mean,
for bullshit. I have a high tolerance for bullshit, actually. Well, what am I? I have a high tolerance for this shit, but after a certain point, I'm gonna get fucking exhausted if someone is purposefully pretending not to understand something. So, yeah.
Would you like to continue a little bit more? I love it here. I don't want to cause any beef, but I see the good things. Literally almost anything. So I mean, I guess I could.
I did promise God some fights, so God, I'm sorry, I took a couple of fights.
Yeah, you took over, done a good job.
I want to get you some more fighting.
It was very entertaining.
I do wilting on the TV more before, so now I do a lot of TikTok stuff. But yeah, professionally, technically, I'm a director. If anyone needs any directing,
Direct my life.
Now that TikTok is going away, I'm back on the market as a director. I do music videos, commercials, all that kind of stuff.
We should talk about rates. I mean, you're in New York and I'm in Texas, but I don't know how that would work, but I feel like this is a good end.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that directs, and I don't know anything about it. Yeah. So. Oh yeah. So do you have the energy for it? I feel like you're kind of tired a little bit.
The energy for what?
Well, we need like, we can't have an argument with just the five of us. It seems like we all kind of align.
I can change sides. It's fine. I can be flat earther or whatever.
Well, God, yeah, go ahead.
But it's not fun. But it's not funny because I know that you're faking it.
I'm a pretty good actor. Not really.
I got the soul of a rock star. I mean, we can go. I'll be respectful and peace and love to everybody. But it's fun and it's good for the stream, I guess.
I tried that like I don't know like an hour ago from another account, and you guys sniffed me out immediately.
You come in with like a funny.
I was coming in. What did I say? I don't remember what I said. Oh, I said that Elon invented Twitter.
He did.
And they were like, "You're faking it. You're trolling."
You're trolling.
Yeah, that was a bit too far. You should have stuck with flat Earth or something.
Far. Yeah, flat Earth.
That wouldn't be as far fetched.
They were like, "This is Andrew."
Can I bring up something real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, James.
Now, speaking of people being tired and reaching a breaking point, what about that guy that got unalived in New York City outside of his hotel?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are finding the breaking point of capitalism at this dystopian world that we are always just like we're all freaking frogs in the boiling water,
Yeah, I think it's gonna wake up every CEO of these corporations and want them to do the right thing. I feel like because I don't know. I guess what goes around comes around, and it was just a testament to that saying. What happened recently? I don't know.
All I'm gonna say is you can track the Google searches over time of DIY guillotines. And they have increased in the last 10 years.
That's scary.
You're kidding, right?
Could it be me?
No, I don't know. I just made that up. I'm just joking.
Oh my God, bro. This dude.
Totally believable, though.
It is believable.
Right, because we're in a dystopian, broken capitalist system. We're in, what's it called?
Oh, yeah. Kangela, what do you
What is the word for it? Late stage. We're in late stage capitalism.
Brenna, can we ask these guys about masculinity and patriarchy?
I just asked her what specifically she wants to ask.
Yeah.
Ask away. Fuck the patriarchy.
But I feel like some mass scale, big time newsworthy event has happened every day for the past 5 days, especially.
Yeah, what's up with the aliens? What's
the
up with the
aliens?
aliens?
Are not fucking real, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Not the ocean thing.
Why TikTok thinks that Congress said that there were aliens? That's not what it fucking said. Yeah.
So they didn't say that at all.
No.
No, man, I'm not a pick me dude. The patriarchy hurts men. Also, it's not. I don't give. It's not a fucking pick me opinion. It's just my fucking opinion.
Oh, I don't. I'm not.
But Joe Rogan told you they're UFOs. Unidentified flying objects is literally that. They are objects in the sky that have been that are not yet identified. That's
Yeah,
what
Joe
they are.
Rogan. Joe Rogan is like me.
Yeah, and it's so scary and mysterious.
Yeah. That
Joe
Chinese
Rogan-
spy balloon,
Unidentified
by the
objects.
way, was a UFO until it was identified. Then it was an IFO, an identified flying object. Like when Congress says, yeah, there's UFOs, that doesn't mean there's fucking aliens. Otherwise, they would say aliens. The whole
Anybody,
fucking designation of UFO is unidentified flying object. It's not.
Hey, Spooky Mulder,
Jesus.
I'm married. I'm married for 11 years. I've already been picked. I'm not trying to be picked. I'm not a pick me. I don't know what whatever you're thinking. I've already been picked, my guy.
Sounds like what a pick me would say, but I don't.
Who's
I'm just
calling you
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Come on, I
kidding.
mean, hey, look, Spooky Mulder, come on up and tell me what you think to my face, if you want to
Spooky's
talk
a
about it.
friend, dude.
Yeah, join, man. Join the.
Pretty sure
I don't know.
Spooky's-
He's calling me a pick me for saying fuck the patriarchy. I don't know.
What's the patriarchy? I don't.
He might be
I don't
teasing
know.
you.
I don't
okay.
know. What it
That's
is.
fair. Well, then it works.
Yeah, I believe that's a tease.
I
A
believe.
mission accomplished, Spooky.
TBH getting called pick me for saying.
Karma got you, Andrew. Karma got you.
To be honest, them getting called pick me for saying they care about it is the whole point. I pick you. Yeah, I'm familiar with machismo.
Machismo.
Pick me, dude. The funny thing is, like, yeah, dude, absolutely, I would pick a feminist. When I got a choice between two guys, you better believe he's a feminist. That's who I'm picking. Also, the simp. We love simps.
Speaking of picking, when my niece was very young, I don't remember, like maybe 3 something, we were in a car. I was in the back seat. She was in her car seat. She was like picking her nose, and I was like, Nora, you can't pick your nose. Like, don't do that. You can't pick your nose. And she looked at me, and I could tell the gears were moving in her brain. And she looked at me and she put her finger up towards my face and she said, well, then I'll pick your nose. And I was like, damn, girl, this is. I was like, you can't pick your nose. And she was like, well, then I'll pick your nose. I was like, shit, she's right. I didn't say she couldn't pick mine.
Isn't there a song or something or a thing that's like you can pick your nose? You can pick, not a song. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Yeah.
I wrote that song.
You read that song?
I wrote it. Yeah, produced it.
The other memorable thing that Nora said to me around that age was I asked her.
To see assholes come to heal. Wilting.
I asked Nora, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she looked at me like I was a fucking idiot, and she said, I want to be me. What do you mean? Like, that's the dumbest question I've ever heard. She was like, I want to be me, And I just I wrote a song about that one because that was such a profound fucking, who do you want to be? What do you want to be when you grow up? And she was like, what do you mean? That's a dumb question.
I like that. We do have a good prompt from Kangela. Kangela would like to know you gents' take on locker room talk and how normalized it is.
I do think there's a lot of pressure. There's a perceived pressure in terms of guy spaces. I want to, where when somebody starts talking what might be described as locker room talk, to just kind of laugh it off and move on. Though I'm very proud of, I'm a millennial. I feel like this is kind of the first millennial onward is kind of the first generation to push back against that and be like, hey, what the fuck? So that's good.
I didn't.
What do you mean by locker room?
I mean, when you're in the locker room, when you're to quote locker room talk is kind of like a catch-all for like when you're in men's spaces and
Oh,
uh,
kind
like
of.
male guy
Like
spaces,
when
and they're
Trump
like,
said
"Oh
grab them
yeah, I
by
want to
the
fucking."
Oh,
when Trump said grab, you can just grab women by the. Mm-hmm. It was dismissed
Well,
as
that's a good
locker room
point,
talk.
Angela. Like Gen Z is kind of going backwards, aren't they? That's a good point. The thing, the difference between like what Trump said is locker room talk, like isn't actually locker room talk. Because like in any sport that I was in, like if somebody was in the fucking locker room and they were like, "Yo, I raped a woman," like
That's
we'd
not
all
what
be
he
like, "What
said
the
though.
fuck?"
He said you could just grab them by the. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that.
Yeah, without like their permission, just grab them. Like I don't think anyone. I don't know. None of my friends would have been like, "Oh, cool."
You've never heard a guy talk about grabbing a girl's ass by any chance?
The silence is insane.
No,
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of like whether or not that was in the moment, whether or not that was like perceived as consensual or not. I guess you're right. That's a good point, Brenna. That's a good point.
Thank you. Silence is wild.
I mean, look, hey, look, but here's the thing. Like, as a millennial, like, there's certain things you have that I have to own as a male, as a guy millennial, which is like back in the early 2000s, like we said, that's gay. Everyone said that's gay.
Careful, Andrew. That's gonna get you fucking
Yeah.
banned.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
I'm
will.
sorry.
You got to be too careful, very much more careful than that.
Yeah.
And look, I'm a B in the LGBT. Like now, I mean, but we all said GAY back then as kind of like an insult. We would insult people by saying that. I mean, it was like normalized in a way that we just were growing up with. We were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's why I
Look, I'm
asked
just
about
trying to
the
be real.
grabbing a girl by the ass, because I'm a millennial. I know. We talked.
Yeah,
I
it's
heard
real. I
that.
mean,
I
it's
was
real.
probably part of conversations like that too.
I mean, I feel like how do women perceive that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Perceive
not
what?
I guess locker room talk. Is it scary for you guys or?
I mean,
'Cause I feel like
we're not usually in the room for it.
oh, okay.
Right, exactly. That's the point. Is it's like while guys are golfing or while guys are after sports or whatever like whatever in these like male spaces, how they speak about women when women aren't around. That's the whole point of the quote locker room talk.
I'll say this: it's still very prominent in like blue collar work, which I'm progressively moving faster and faster away from. But it's like it's very much a culture out there, and I don't like it. But I mean, that's kind of why I didn't fit in with any of the jobs that I would go to because they're very, 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 very deep into like that kind of talk all the time for anything and everything. I'm just like, you know what, this is kind of disgusting, man. Like, you know, I don't want to sound like a simp, but it kind of is. If any like woman would have actually heard what was being said in these conversations, they would just be like, I'm never gonna speak to this man ever again. I can't get out fast enough from this interaction.
And have
I've
you
got a tough
ever?
question.
Wait, have you ever
I've got a
pushed?
tough.
Sorry, I
Sorry.
have one. I'm the
Yeah.
woman. I'm gonna do the asking around here. Have you ever pushed back on a guy who said any of those disgusting things in your presence?
Hmm. I gotta think. I just really wouldn't fit into those types of crowds, and I'd walk away. But typically, I was doing a lot of blue collar work when I was 18 years old, and I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And the specific examples when I was doing this installation of like glass fixtures for buildings, and those guys were like all ex-convicts and in their 30s and 40s, and and it got to a point to where they would like basically do some real gangster stuff and try like run you off the road, we'll cut you off, and then like, oh, let's fight then. And I'm just like, I'm not about that, honestly. And I didn't say it like that. I burned out, but it that's what the point I got to, and it was like people like that are very tumultuous, and it goes away. Like they burn out by themselves. I feel like faster than I think like I only ever had a connection to anybody like that. Not even a real connection, but in the presence of people like that for about 2 months or 3 months tops. And then 1 month was falling out, and 1 month was introductory when they're not really saying anything.
Mm.
And then after that, more of the locker room talk like got moved into, or not locker room talk, but it just more of the guy talk that was around this type of stuff was like, well, what are you doing to, be presentable, to like attract a partner or attract chicks is like the way they would put it. Like sports, more ways to make money, and it also involves a lot of the bad stuff that guys go through with women too is the locker room talk. And it's like it's kind of unfortunate to say, but there's a lot of stuff out there that happens. But and there's a lot of people that genuinely just a lot of men that genuinely hate women for this reason or the other. I'm not one of them, you know, but you hear all this stuff all the time, and there's all these kinds of groups that they say, hey, there's this movement online and this group with this kind of acronym for a name, men going their own way or something like that. And then you have people out here like Andrew Tate that are inspiring kind of the wrong things and young men, leading them down like bad paths, getting them the wrong ideals of how the world should work. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like I think I've grown a lot, so that's why I don't see that type of stuff a lot anymore. But I mean, this society today, so I feel like it's really disgusting. Like if I was like like how do you say? Like I don't know. I feel like I just can't keep up with the insanity of what the times are now, and like the dating market or whatever. I'm very close to God, and that's what. So I mean, it's just the other things that I see around me. I'm just like, this is insanity, bro. Like if this
I
is
will
what
say, I will say, like, um, I've pushed back in the past. Like it has a lot to do. As I've been sitting here trying to think, like my guy friends, the men that I spend time with now. I think as you choose who you're spending time with, especially like me, as I've come into adulthood. I'm 37, so I'm not like super old, but I'm definitely not young.
right.
It's not something I'm trying to think like, have I pushed back recently? And I think it's just that I'm not choosing to associate around men that would speak that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
But
think
what
like,
about not
when
recently?
was the last time? Yeah. Like I would say in high school and stuff, I was more shy to not speak up. There were like social pressures to not speak up.
Mm-hmm.
But in my 20s, like around college, when I really started to like kind of bloom into like a confidence in myself, definitely spoke up back
Even when
then.
you were
And
conservative?
well, that's what I'm saying is when I was conservative in like high school and stuff, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But in college, and I started to kind of bloom into like what I actually thought and not just what I thought I was supposed to think, like, actually thinking for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was kind of an
That's
outcast in my like
that's when it
form.
that's when it really changed for me. I think in college, and by the way, like college for me is different than it is for most people. Like most people were in college for 4 years. I was in college for like 2 years, and then my band went on tour, and we got signed to a Pacific Records record label, and then I was in a different band, and then finally went back to school. So like when I say college, like it spans from 18 to like 24 because of the time that I wasn't in school between starting and finishing. So like really my early 20s is kind of that time when I was like uh, coming out of the shell of a conservative upbringing, if that makes sense.
Can I ask some advice on this subject?
Mm-hmm.
So, like where I work, I'm actually at work right now, but I work overnight. But where I work, I have coworkers, but I also have guests and customers, and I don't have so much problem interacting that way with my coworkers but guess you're kind of supposed to be nice to them. And I do have, I have had some guests, some customers say some off the wall stuff, and I don't know like what I can say to them in that type of, in this type of setting.
I mean, that's harder
Honestly,
to know. I think that's more
yeah.
if a boss is, if you're going to get in trouble as an employee of something for saying something to a customer, that's kind of more up to your workplace. But
Oh, I got
And
something.
and safety, and well, I gotta say, like, safety is involved too. Like, um, in these spaces, if you feel like you can't push back without like some kind of physical retaliation, or even like Brenna was saying, like financial job retaliation, that's tougher than what I'm talking about, which is like guys in bands saying awful things, and you going, "Hey, dude, that fucking sucks, dude. What are you talking about?"
I got
You know,
something.
however, I will say this though.
that's a harder conversation.
I will say it's a harder conversation, but not impossible, right? Like I do wish more men stood up for women in workplaces. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
Especially
Actually,
with
just
coworkers. Like I've stood up as the only woman in a room and the woman with the least amount of power in that room. I have like called someone out and had
I
a
know that
supposed
story.
like, yeah, you know it, like feminists be like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're right, you should have done it. You have more power than me, and you're a dude,
Right.
and that's your buddy. You should have fucking done it, not me. But
I've done something like that. I got actually an example from last year. I was working for a company. I don't want to name them. I don't know if that's allowed, but
You don't have to. You don't have to. It's fine.
basically there was this guy in a leadership position, not like a GM, but like I guess like a shift leader of a section of the work. Just like behaving inappropriately with all the people that he's supposed to be leading. And and then like I never liked the guy. Like every time I gave off this energy every time that I would come around, that stuff just wasn't welcome around me, even though he was like my the lead for whatever situation, and I was new. And it's so much so I ended up speaking with HR. This guy would follow me around to catch me slipping up, doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing on the job at all times. I was actually harassment. And I spoke to HR about this, and it made me lose and like complete, well, especially for that company, it made me lose so much faith in the HR department. I went up there and I spoke to the HR lady. I said, "Hey, I'm getting harassed by somebody that's not even a lead in my section. He's not even leading in my department, and he's coming over here for this. It was a warehouse, and he's coming all the way over here and not even in the appropriate wear for the temperature, like -20 that we're operating in. And he's trying to get me in trouble, telling me this GM has to talk to you about something, which turned out to be nothing, just wasting my time trying to get me in trouble because of trying to get my production rate to go down, and then report me for being underperforming, which I wasn't, and never happened. I go to HR and I talk to them. I'm like, this is what this guy's doing. I heard him say these things around these female workers that are around here, and I don't know if they're speaking to you guys, but like if they're not gonna say anything or are scared to say anything, like I'm gonna say something right now. Lo and behold, they acted like they really, really cared. Nothing ended up happening with that guy, and they ended up saying, "Okay, well, look, we're gonna have to let you go for this or that reason." Nothing insane at all. It was literally nothing. I wish I had a good lawyer, and I wish I was like financially set up well enough to sue for what they did. And then and then I'm let go. And I told him as I was leaving, as I was emailing these people, I was like, this guy's gonna end up getting you guys in a lawsuit. There's gonna be so much trouble going on in here, and you guys are not taking any action for what I reported. And it just made me lose like all this faith in the HR people here. Like it was honestly terrible. And I do like independent contracting, and now that's honestly it's being like finding my work my own way is like the only way that I ended up basically what I end up going back to, which is unfortunate, but there's just, you know, a lot of situations out there and that people just don't like when you're on the right side of how things are supposed to be, which is like respectful. And I guess some people call it woke, but for me, that's not what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks. But, you know, later that company ended up being like, they like fired 100 people because they were doing fraud and people were stealing the stuff. Yeah, there was like an ammonia leak because of the freezer situation, and they were like, "You guys can work through it," or "Oh, you have to go home and go to the hospital. We're not gonna pay you for any of that." Like, it was terrible. Can I say
I've got to ask, Key Angela or Kai Angela?
Yeah, my name is Kai. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
and thank you for the gifts.
Sorry, we're gonna. Yeah, thank you, Kai. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have Kai share her story, her quitting story, and then I'm gonna go to bed. If that's okay with everyone, even if it's not okay with everyone, I need.
Yeah. Don't ask for our permission.
You're gonna deal
I'm
with it.
on the West Coast.
I'm gonna do it, and you're gonna love it.
Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to keep you on.
No. I want to hear this. I want like a good quitting story. I like that.
A good quitting story before we quit.
Yeah, Nando, I want to say preemptively that a lot of employment attorneys work on contingency. So that's how I won my lawsuit without having to pay a lawyer at all.
Nice.
Just for the future, for future reference.
I might still go back. I don't know.
You could. I mean, honestly, if you have a case, you really, really could. So basically what happened within my department was I had to enact Title IX on a guy that was like sexually harassing me for, I don't know, I do know it was 7 months straight. And yeah, despite like the complaints, whatever, I went up to the higher ups, and I don't know how to make the story sound like a great walking out story. Basically, by the end of it, I walked out, but I will say that I hired a lawyer and got it all shut down after the fact.
Nice.
Which
Hell yeah.
makes me sound like the supervillain, right?
No, it makes you sound like a badass. Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah, I just want people to know that it is possible, and there's, what is that?
Someone's saying medic? Is someone saying medic?
Holy shit. What?
It's New York. But that's not normal.
Yo. Is she in New York? Where is she?
Yeah, New York City.
Oh damn, she's in New York City?
Yeah, but I mean, come on, that's still not a normal,
What's
even
Good
for
Bar
New York.
saying? I just got an alert for Good Bar. Whatever you said, it just triggered something.
Good Bar?
Was that your team?
What?
Oh, when someone came on here, Mr. Goodbar's live content contains themes that some might find uncomfortable. When the fuck was he on?
Mr. Goodbar was talking about Sissy Spacek.
That's weird.
That's how long ago that was.
Yeah.
What was that?
What was that?
Maybe because we were
screaming
talking
in my
about
hall
Carrie.
right now.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I think it's someone just fucking with. That's never happened here before, but something tells me it's some asshole trying to fuck with people in the building.
Stay aware and stay safe, man. You know, protect yourself. You never know. Stuff's crazy out there.
Well, Kai, that was a badass story. Not at all supervillain-esque.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really say everything. Obviously, I don't have time to say everything that happened, but I want to tell people that it is possible, and you will be villainized for doing that, but at the end of the day, the law will side with you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, like, at least trying, like, can help other people after you. You know what I mean? Like, that can just help. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta.
it's
Yours,
totally good.
yeah, exactly. Yours might not be the one that breaks the camel's
Yeah.
back, but it might inspire others to say, you know what, this also happened to me. And then by the third time that somebody says, hey, this also happened to me, then something happens, right?
Yeah.
So that's good on you.
Yeah, you guys got to stand up for what's right. And I don't know you guys' religious beliefs or anything like that. I just want to say a quick thing. I one of the popes said this, that we gotta hold true what like the sayings of the Bible, or I don't know. I'm probably butchering that terribly. He said we gotta keep forward with this, even if we are reduced to 12 still, and that's just so powerful. You at the end of the day, we gotta do what's right, and keep doing what's right. Like eventually, and fight for what's right. That's really it.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if
as
popes are
the
really
Beastie
known for doing
Boys,
what's right.
Even if people think you're the
that's
villain.
a whole different topic. But that's a whole different topic for another live, God. But just I'll just say to close, as the Beastie Boys so eloquently said, we also have to fight for our right to party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say thank you guys for even participating in that conversation, because a lot of men get really defensive against that entire line of questioning, and I think that you guys handled it really well, and same with some of the guys in the chat. Some were pushing back, but I really appreciate it.
No, it's a good conversation. It needs to have these conversations need to happen.
We
It's
should
great.
do that more.
Thank you for asking.
We should bring more men up here and just ask them
Yeah.
cool, what are you doing to push back against this stuff?
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know that did I need to answer any of that, because I think we're all pretty clear that how I act in such situations.
Yeah, God, you have such a great track record.
Yeah.
Feminist.
Yeah.
The Abrahamic God, what a feminist.
Your fucking
What
book,
a
man.
feminist.
Your fucking book.
Yeah, the book. I've never written a book. They're getting it wrong.
You know what? A really famous Russian book. God, what is it? The something. Oh my God, I can't play. I'm blanking on the name. It's got a cat in it. Oh my God, the each chapter switches back between then modern day Russia, which was I think the 60s or something, and then the next chapter is Pontius Pilate and Jesus Christ talking. But oh my God, it's like the Master and the Marguerite. Has anyone else read this book? It's a fantastic book.
No,
Master and Marguerite. I recommend it. Really, really, really wonderful. It was written during the time that Russia was everyone was pressured to be atheist in Russia. Master and Marguerite. It's fantastic. But in the Pontius Pilate and Jesus chapters, the thing that really compelled me and spoke to me about that was that Pontius Pilate was like, hey man, what's going on with this book and all this shit? People are making these claims about you. And Jesus was like, no, I never said that. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. That's not that. People have written this about me and they're twisting what I'm trying to teach. It's so good. It's so good. So when you said, God, I never wrote a book, that made me think of that book, because that was what Jesus was like. I didn't write this. These are people writing about me, and I didn't say that, and I didn't do this, and blah blah blah. It's really good book. Everyone should read it.
So, depending on the live stream, sometimes I say I did write a book, and the book is a test of people's morals. If they can find the things wrong in the book and acknowledge them, they've made it to the right place.
I
if
like
they can't,
that.
they need to work on it.
I like
that. That's
Go
really
back and
good.
read it again. Work on it.
Heck yeah.
That's a good approach to it. That should be made.
They don't think so. I always get banana immediately.
Brenna, your blazer, by the way, where is that from? It's so amazing.
It's from a suit, technically a pantsuit. It's from Zara, but it's a gazillion years old.
I love it.
Thank you. I love it too. I don't really wear blazers unless they're it's this one mainly, and one other one.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to say to Kai, if I could, I'm sorry that happened to you, and I may
no,
not share.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry about it. It's that honestly gave me like the most power I've had in a while, and yet I still left it feeling like the bad guy somehow. Because, you know, like he was an army guy. I got him fired. I got him in trouble.
He
and
got himself fired. He got himself.
yeah, you know, and I don't know. It leaves you with this like overwhelming sense of guilt. But he said the things he said. I had them on recording. I had them on everything. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say was I may not share a lot of experiences with women, but I actually do share this. I do know what it's like to be relentlessly sexually harassed for a number of months by a coworker.
Oh, sure.
That's awful.
Believe it or not, it does happen to guys sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it does.
That's not right. Nobody should.
There was a similar type thing, except this person wasn't fired. And and since this person and I were the only two that worked directly with each other, he knew when I told my bosses that it was me. Obviously, made things much worse.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, that is.
You know,
unfortunately.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But she would tell me things that I thought were very, very fireable, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Again, employment lawyers usually work on contingency, guys. You can hire them for free until you win your case. And if not, you don't have to pay them.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to know.
That is a good
You
thing to know.
I didn't bring that up to get sympathy. I was saying I'm with you. I actually can empathize with you there.
No, yeah, James, that's horrible, and I think everyone deserves that chance to be heard out, and that's not cool. And I don't know, capitalism, America, that's just our system. Like, people get away with a lot of shit in these companies that we work for, and it's unfortunate, and it's hard to fight back.
Unless you got a good lawyer, I guess, right?
Yeah, you know what? I found my lawyer on TikTok.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. And he's the one that told me that, you have to look around, but I did not have to pay him any fees up front and at all. And I think it cost me like $60, the entire process.
Who are you talking to, BB King? That's cool. That's actually cool.
I think it's just a bot coming in with a random ass question out of nowhere. Just, whatever.
Yeah.
If we're ending, I want to say, Kai, on an ending note, fucking congratulations on the raise.
Yeah, congratulations on the raise.
I like you guys a lot.
Indeed,
I like
congratulations.
I'm happy that I found Brenna, and I'm happy that I found this awesome panel of men that seem very, very decent, because that helps.
I started out as a troll and a hater, kind of, but then I listened for like 1 second, and then I was like,
Oh, yes. You know what? That's what it takes. I think people that are open to changing their mind and open to hearing other people's like worldviews and experiences, and that's very important. So
I hope we get to see you back again. I mean, I don't know if you're a regular. This is kind of my,
I will be from now on. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just last thing before we go. Enlightened was also a troll. He's been here. He's been with us for months, but when he first came in here, he was a troll for a while. We've got a lot of ex-trolls.
That's what I always say.
Oh yeah.
Well, I hang out on a lot of live streams, and I've seen the most of them change over here.
That's what it takes.
That's why this became my favorite.
People breaking out of like their echo chambers, their little like red pilled, whatever the fuck echo chamber that they were indulged in, and just, and you just have to explore and learn new perspectives.
Yeah.
It's the Socratic method. It's Brenna's genius with the Socratic. Just, hey, look, let's go down that road. You want to make a claim? Let's explore it,
Let's explore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that, the touch of the tism. I just want to know how things work.
I could see that. I could see that.
I just want to know how it works.
a little neural spice
A little
cabinet.
neural spice in there, so that I just
That's
want to
little
know how it
spice
works.
cabinet. Little spice cabinet.
I used to pull electronics apart when I was a kid. Now I just pull arguments apart. So same fucking thing. But thank you guys. I will say, okay, last thing before we go. I'm gonna go now because I'm falling asleep on here. You guys are so lovely. Thank you all.
Go to bed.
Please find me on all the other apps, every single other app ever. It's the same. It's at perezbrenna, except on here YouTube. It's perez.brenna, whatever. If you search my name or at perezbrenna on just about every app that exists, you'll probably find me somewhere. Anyway, please, this app is set to go away January 19th now. Hopefully
There's an expiration date.
But
Yeah.
44
Seems
days
like
from
it.
now, otherwise. So, all right. Love you guys.
All right,
Thank
good
you
night,
all.
good
Thank you
night.
so much. Nice to talk to you all.
You too.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye,
Good night.
Good night, everybody.